Our Justice Department's own admission has 1,000 victims.
A bipartisan group of lawmakers is also calling on the Justice Department to release all of the files. Republican Thomas Massey.
The Washington establishment is asking the American public to believe something that is not believable. They're asking you to believe that two individuals created hundreds of victims and they acted alone, and that the DOJ has no idea of who else might have been involved.
A federal judge in Boston says the Trump administration's cuts in funding to Harvard were illegal. CBS's Matt Piper reports.
The judge says the Trump administration violated Harvard University's First Amendment rights in federal law when it froze more than $2 billion in federal grants because of the Ivy Leaguers' handling of anti-Semitism on campus. The judge says the cuts amounted to illegal retaliation for Harvard's rejection of White House demands for changes to its governance and policies. If the ruling stands, it would revive Harvard's research operation and hundreds of projects that lost federal money.
President Trump said today he may send federal troops to Louisiana to combat crime in New Orleans. Florida's Surgeon General has announced plans to end all state vaccine mandates, including for children to attend schools. He likened the mandates to slavery. The governors of 3 western states are forming a new public health partnership aimed at preserving access to vaccines. Michael Wallace has that.
Citing the firings and turmoil at the CDC, the governors of California, Washington, and Oregon have announced their states will work together on vaccine guidance and recommendations. In a joint statement, they say the CDC has become, quote, a political tool that increasingly peddles ideology instead of science.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio is in Mexico today, where he said there could be more strikes like the one yesterday on an alleged drug boat off Venezuela.
The president, under his authority as commander-in-chief, has a right under exigent circumstances to eliminate imminent threats to the United States, and that's what he did yesterday in international waters, and that's what he intends to do. We're not going to sit back anymore and watch these people sail up and down the Caribbean like a cruise ship.
Oil giant ConocoPhillips is planning to lay off a quarter of its workforce with 13,000 employees around the world. That could mean as many as 3,000 workers. The cuts are expected before the end of the year. The company's shares fell more than 4% in afternoon trading. On Wall Street, stocks finished mixed. The Nasdaq and S&P 500 were in positive territory. This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Coming up, no more federal watchdog at the Seattle Police Department. That's after Nate Connors at the real-time traffic desk.
Thanks, Aaron. Wilcox Family Farm Eggs has our update. Let's update you with our collision in South Tacoma. North 5 at 56. It's in your right lane. That's got you backed up to 96. Olympia to Tacoma right now is at 40 minutes. Now, South 5 is packed at State Route 16 to the scene. In Parkland, eastbound 512 is solid from I-5 out to State Route 7. Renton to Puyallup on 167 is at 45 minutes. You're crowded through Renton and then again south of Highway 18. Seattle to Federal Way is at 35. You're slow along South Center. North 5 at Seneca and downtown Seattle. A collision still blocks that left lane. We're a good hour into this now. You're bumper to bumper approaching the West Seattle Bridge. South 5 is thick through the U District down to I-90. Southbound 99 is now packed between the Aurora Bridge and Mercer. And Bellevue to Renton's at a half hour. It's heavy from Southeast 8th down to 112th. More crowding near the VMAC. Fresh food comes from local farms. Check the package for healthier eggs with 3 times the omega-3s. Choose Wilcox Omega-3 eggs. Locally fresh since 1909. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. A judge today ends federal oversight of the Seattle Police Department after 13 years. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more.
SPD came under U.S. Justice Department supervision after a lawsuit over biased policing and excessive use of force. Seattle police say they've now expanded training in de-escalation and cultural competency, increased transparency, and community engagement. And Mayor Bruce Harrell says Chief Sean Barnes is the right person to lead the department into a new era.
Chief Barnes has been out there in the field, and he talked about having over 300 community meetings, making sure that our culture reflects that which the community wants.
In Seattle, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
High-speed chase across 3 counties ends with a repeat offender back in jail. Deputies say that suspect, who has 14 felonies, hit 100 miles per hour and drove the wrong way on I-5. Judge called it a sheer chance. No one was killed. Bail is set at $100,000. Seattle police say they recovered narcotics at an auto body shop in the Chinatown International District. Captain Mike Strand says today's bust follows a 2-month undercover operation at that business at 8th and Jackson.
As far as the business goes, we're going to work with our partners in the city attorney's office with the new nuisance abatement laws and see if we can close down this building entirely and the business itself.
Police say they witnessed users buying drugs at the shop pretty much every morning. They arrested 2 people and say other workers may also be involved. The candidates for Seattle mayor are going head-to-head next month. The incumbent Bruce Harrell and challenger Katie Wilson agreed to an hour-long debate October 3rd. This will be hosted by King 5 in the Seattle Times. Harrell seeking his second term in office. Wilson led Harrell by 9 percentage points in the August primary election. Weather now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Hazy sunshine today with highs in the upper 70s and low 80s, currently 79 in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
It's such a good feeling to know you're alive. It's such a happy feeling.
I'm alive. My heart's big. It's got hot blood going through it fast. I like to fight, too. I like to eat.
Okay, Mr. Rogers and Alex Jones. And it's to see those two on the same stage, but all right, here we go. Here we go. Right there. The champ's down. Down again. Down goes Frazier. Down goes Frazier. All right, one time in Germantown, Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia. My dad is on one side of the street. I'm standing next to him. He goes, "Hey, you want to go meet Joe Frazier?" I said, "Yeah." So Joe Frazier had already crossed the street. He was heading down the road there, down the sidewalk. My father and I running after him. My dad loves celebrities. Hey, champ. Hey, champ. He turns to me and goes, "They love when you call him champ." Hey, champ. Hey, champ. Smoking Joe. Throwing every name at him. Joe Frazier stops, turns around. "Hey, what's going on?" My dad goes, "My son wants to meet you. How you doing?" I was like, "Hey, Joe Frazier." Then I went, "Down goes Frazier." He didn't like that very much. Apparently, they don't want to be reminded of things like that, Aaron. So if you ever meet like one of your favorite sports stars, just don't bring things up, like, and that'll be it for the inning, and that'll be it for the chance for the World Series.
That makes sense to me.
Only bring up the good stuff. But I couldn't think of anything else. Down goes Frazier. All right, hey everybody, it's time again that we got news, and you need news because who can live without the news? What would we be doing for 3 hours? Telling dad stories? Pshaw! Here we go. Made a big mistake today, this morning when I woke up, and trying to make up for that in just a little bit. But first, day in history. This is a fascinating story because it was 1939. Britain and France declare war on Germany. But the backstory of all the stuff that went on to try to get the United States into the war. Only 7% of Americans at the time of the polling in 1941, only 7% wanted, we should try to defeat Hitler. James Bond, actually played a big role in it. The real James Bond. The guy that inspired James Bond. Yeah. Thank you. Plus, the driverless cars, the Waymos, are coming to Seattle soon. Yes. But don't expect to ride one anytime soon. Oh. I'm assuming that I tried to see. So in San Francisco, they were in San Francisco, and I tried to see if the good council there, the city council of San Francisco, had come up with any laws to try to block it. Normally they try to do that because they just recently in California were able to force Uber drivers to join the union in a really interesting workaround. So I just assumed there's no way you can have the free market in Seattle without the city council getting involved. But I can't see anything yet as to what they're doing to stop you from driving around in a Waymo. Probably they're just going to have all sorts of restrictions. But the driverless cars will be coming at some point. Of course, you just heard the story that James Lynch had it, that the consent decree is over after 13 years. Does anyone have any idea what that cost us? There was no mention of it. Nothing in the news. I see it's up on mynorthwest.com. The total cost of the consent decree. So we're going to have Bob Scales is going to join us, and he knows exactly where the money went, how often the money was spent and wasted when they, for 13 years, this thing was like a giant cow that they just sucked every drop out of its teats. It was a big, big cow. I guess to find
heifer.
Pick your favorite.
Okay, I like heifer.
And then after a while, like, let's let the cow go. Man, they had a ball in there, just going to town, taking all the money. Scales will tell you what it cost, and he also breaks down what would happen is they put it in place, then they get these people that are on this consent decree board, and then the people on the board have to, meet all the time in order to, hey, how's it going? Are we really making great progress? And they would show up for an hour or not even show up and then bill the city $500, $600 an hour or something. So 13 years of just an absolute farce and just more money. We'll find out what the consent decree cost and did it really do anything. Plus, the Supreme Court comes in, and I can't wait for the Supreme Court to try to take apart this tariff thing. Really quickly, the president has done a lot of stuff it's an emergency. It's an emergency. We need to do this. The U.S. Supreme Court is going to have to just slice and dice this thing up into sections and still keep the patient alive. So we'll find out if they're able to do that. Well, I've talked so long, I've actually blown through the entire music bed. Let's see how it ends. Okay, that's fine. That's it.
Now we know.
Okay. I made a mistake. I woke up this morning and this guy could relate. Watch this. This guy pulls up to Starbucks to order a drink. You might have seen this.
And we're going to do a venti iced white mocha.
He's ordering his wife's drink.
Half sweet with coconut milk.
We're going to go half sweet on that with coconut milk.
Was my drink too big?
I'm so happy you're going to do one.
Hand her my app.
Okay, so she says, here, you can use my app. He has no idea why. Now, is this a setup? Did she know? Watch this.
I have an app.
I have an app, and she says,
I have a birthday drink.
I have a birthday drink. Right there. He has to make a decision. Does he just beg for forgiveness? Oh, my God, sweetie, I'm so sorry. Right? Or completely ignore what she just said and go on like life hasn't changed one bit. Backing it up. Here it comes again. Remember, he doesn't know this is coming.
I have an app.
Because I have a birthday drink.
You have a birthday drink. Is it your birthday?
Okay. Now, see, he isn't getting, you don't see much emotion. Just, oh, is it your birthday? Oh, like, are those new shoes?
Yeah.
Happy birthday. Thanks for ordering something so weird that I knew something was up. Happy birthday. I did forget it, though.
Okay, see how now that's an interesting twist. See how you ordered something so weird, but I got it right. So he's giving himself credit for that. And then, oh, by the way, he slips in there and, sorry, I forgot it's your birthday. Did he handle it well? Scale of 1 to 10. 10 being like, it was perfectly done. At 3, he's still hearing about it.
Whew. I'm going to give him a 4.
Yeah, because then once this thing went up on TikTok Town, everybody has been tearing him apart.
Yes.
And that he's a horrible human being and a terrible thing. And then I watched a 15-minute marriage counselor explaining, so what does it actually mean when a husband forgets his wife's birthday? It's a sign of a number of problems in the relationship. That really annoying thing.
The lozenge?
No, yeah, the fake imaginary lozenge. It shows a breakdown in the priorities of the relationship. The husband is unaware of the important things in the wife's life. Of course, the beginning of her life, that being her birthday. It's like, oh, my God. Oh, my God. Anyway, I woke up this morning, and I don't know how Nick just, I know it was. She showed me a text from her daughter, just a beautiful text. And she said, here, read this. And it was very long, and I don't like to read aloud because I'm on text message. But I was like, yeah, okay. So I'm reading it. It's really lovely, really lovely. And about, I would say, 6 inches down into this text was and I love you and happy birthday.
Oh.
But when you think about it, The person whose birthday it is, it's not really that big of a deal for them. What they have to do? Just keep their umbilical cord from getting around their neck? I'm sure that wasn't most of their activity.
No.
You just let gravity do its part. The person who deserves all the credit for the birthday is the mom. Yeah.
Yes, Michael.
My mother-in-law. Let's celebrate you. Let's celebrate you on this day.
Thank you, Mr. Curley. I'll take the celebration.
Right.
In fact, I'm sitting here at a party across the street from my house, getting ready to toast my daughter for her birthday, but I'll take the celebration as well.
Right. Because let's face it, Nick was probably a tiny, tiny thing because she's still a tiny, tiny thing. So, she was there she just came out. But you deserve all the credit on this day. You, the mother that birthed her, that carried her, a morning sickness and all the other stuff that she put you through. We don't need to go through the litany. But do you remember this very day some years ago when you gave birth to my wife?
I do remember, and I remember it vividly. And now I have to correct you because, A, there was no morning sickness.
Okay.
And,
all right.
And B, I love being pregnant. Who says that? I know a lot of people don't, but I did. So, and the birth, she came out in like 20 minutes. So does it get easier than that?
Okay. You're not helping me at all, Athena. You're not helping one bit. All right. But
you know what? I'm setting you up like this because I'm going to tell you the next thing was, oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
When we got her home.
Oh, here we go.
It was not. Yeah, here we go. It was not easy.
No.
So,
no.
Well, pick it up from there. It was a joyous birth. Kim barely made it. He was working in Oakland. I was at John Muir Hospital, Walnut Creek, California. They told him, your wife has gone into labor. He didn't believe him because they'd done this before, and it was a joke. And so all the office staff came back in and said, what are you doing here? And they said, your wife truly is in labor.
Wait, back up. So they were lying. They would, as a joke, they told Kim, your husband, Nick's dad, that they would say, hey, your wife's in labor? That was the joke?
Yeah, they did it. They did it in his office. Wow. And so he was getting all ready to go, and then they started laughing.
Okay.
So when I really went into labor, I didn't say any of this part.
I know that's no.
Yep, this is how it all played out.
Okay, so then your wife's in labor. He's like, yes, you're right. So he keeps working. And then like, no, really, this time it's true. So he then races to the hospital. Is this the old-fashioned days where the guy stood around paced out front with a big cigar and then, pounded on the maternity thing like, there's my baby in there. I'm going to go smoke a cigar in its face. Was it like that back then? No.
First of all, he's in Oakland. Keep this in mind. I'm in Walnut Creek. So he has to drive out to Walnut Creek, which is about 25 minutes from where he was. Runs to the hospital, is so uptight and nervous. He goes into the delivery room, which they'd already will be in there ready to go. And my sister was there. So if he didn't come, she was going to stay for it all. So then he starts running around the bed like a maniac. And then he's starting to eat my lifesavers, and he took all my ice chips. And I'm just lying there watching him go around, thinking, hey, I'm having a baby here, and you're the one that's really clinical. It's curious to watch you.
So he was sort of losing his mind while you're laying there about to give birth, and he was eating your ice chips, and what else was he consuming?
Lifesavers.
Oh, lifesavers.
Yeah.
Okay.
They did back then.
I see. Okay, so the precious moment arrives. Does he cut the cord? Were they doing? You guys were sort of hippies. So did you do? Would he gnaw through it or cut it with his toenail? What'd you guys do back then?
No, he did cut the cord. He actually did cut the cord.
Okay.
So, and then he finally started to calm down and really realize that, hey, this is your kid, and it's a girl, and she has all this dark hair, and hair on her body, and I mean, she was pretty hairy.
Well, she is Greek. She still has some of that. She takes care of it every couple of weeks.
She does. Yep, we got to get rid of that hair under our armpits, etc. above our lip, you know.
By the way, hold on, stop, Athena. Yeah, you're not helping me. This is me.
Go ahead.
This is me trying to make amends for the fact that I missed my wife's birthday, and here you are talking about hair on an upper lip. That's not what we want to talk about. So was she all in all a good kid? So you birth her, you feed her, you give her a lot of love. Was she difficult at times? Because if not, she seems to have grown into it.
She grew into it. No, you know what? Oh, okay, here I'm going to brag as a mother. And mothers out there in Radio Land, don't we always brag about our kids and grandkids? Anyway, she was such an easy kid to raise. In fact, we did have people come to us and say, we don't know what you're doing with Nicole, but when we have kids, we want to raise her just the way you raised her.
Oh.
So I have to brag about that because she was really easy. Well, maybe until high school. And then, you know, you get into the high school teenage years and you get a few things here and there. But overall, she was a breeze to raise.
You sent her to Greek class to learn Greek.
I did.
You signed her up for piano lessons. She bombed out on that. Yep.
Yep. She bombed out on Greek. She bombed out on piano lessons. But she said to me later when she decided to take a minor in Spanish and go to Mexico and study and go to Ecuador and study, she said, why didn't you make me stick with Greek? All these languages would have been so much easier. But, you know.
Do you remember the most difficult time you had with her when she was in high school?
When we didn't know where she, you know, half the time when you don't know where your teenagers are. Yeah, I would say those were the times.
By the way,
and just sit up and wait.
Yeah,
but other than that.
Yeah, Athena, I know where she was. She told me, so don't worry about it. She's okay now. All right.
Good. As long as you know.
I do.
Yeah.
Okay, so a big happy birthday to your daughter.
Happy birthday, Nicole. Now, wait, can I say one thing before you get me off the air?
Go ahead.
Okay, hang on. I'm across the street at a birthday party for other people who were born on September 3rd. So hang on, Nicole. Ready, ladies? Happy birthday. Okay.
There it is. Athena.
There it is.
Thank you, Yaya.
You're welcome, Michael.
Look, my wife has a rule.
Oh,
When somebody's birthday, sing happy birthday. You ready?
Okay.
Happy birthday to you.
All right.
Happy birthday to you.
Her name is Nicole.
Happy birthday,
Mr. President, her name is
dear
Nicole.
darling.
Okay.
Happy birthday to you.
There you go. Nicely done. All right, let's go to Nate over there on Nicole's birthday.
All righty. Yes, sir. Global Credit Union has our update. South Tacoma, North 5 at 56. Still dealing with a crash in that right lane. Tow is on scene, so they should be clearing this momentarily. Meanwhile, you're backed up to State Route 512. Olympia to Tacoma is right around a 45-minute drive. South 5 is heavy approaching State Route 16 to the scene. In Parkland, eastbound 512 is solid from I-5 out to State Route 7. Just volume here. Renton to Puyallup on 167 is up a little bit to 50 minutes. Here in Seattle, North 5 at Seneca, we're looking at a long-term collision blocking that left lane, and you're backed up to the West Seattle Bridge. South 5 now bumper to bumper from Lake City Way to I-90. Southbound 99 is packed coming out of the zoo down to Mercer. Seattle to Everett, Bellevue to Everett are both 45-minute commutes. And up in North Bend, westbound 90 at 436. Two right lanes and the on-ramp are blocked. This is the scene of a two-semi collision that has sadly turned into a fatality investigation. You're in about a mile-and-a-half bumper-to-bumper backup. Global Credit Union, where members enjoy no-fee accounts and early payday with direct deposit. Learn more at globalcu.org. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
All right, I know what it's like. You're watching that hair begin to thin, the crown disappears. That hair loss just starts to rob you of your identity. That's exactly how I felt before I visited Advanced Hair. You see, Advanced Hair has got this simple one-day treatment. They regrow my own natural hair, and they can do the exact same thing for you. as you start to notice the hair begins to thin, you got a bunch of choices to make. But I can tell you, there's only one place that you can go that you get your hair back. And the fact that it's guaranteed, it is the best way to go. So don't delay on this. Treat yourself to it. You know what? A free consultation, $250 off, and 250 free hair grafts at 425-449-8185. You don't want to wait. Your own natural hair is guaranteed to grow. And get this, Advanced Hair is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. These guys know what they're doing over there. Let's get your hair back. Ready? Give them a call, 425-449-8185. That's 425-449-8185, advancedhair.com.
Man wide open, touchdown Seahawks.
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones, left tackle. The anchor to the left side of the offensive line for the Seahawks that went to the Super Bowl. One of the best players in franchise history.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
I think it's fair to say that Christina has led an active lifestyle.
I grew up as a dancer. I danced for 18 years.
And 18 years of dancing is going to leave you with some wear and tear.
I ended up in a great deal of pain and went in for 3 different hip surgeries.
And after discovering that the surgeries were no help, Christina saw Dr. Mark Wagner at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine for stem cell therapy. So it's time to ask, what is her pain level now?
None.
None.
The hip joint pain, it's gone. It is absolutely gone.
And she is back to her active lifestyle.
And it's made such a difference. It actually gave me the ability to move forward, go for walks with my dogs, to play Frisbee, or to go to the gym or go cycling if I want to.
Which is why Christina will tell anybody who asks her that whether it's a shoulder, hip, or knee, before you choose surgery, consider stem cell therapy with Dr. Mark Wagner, MD at Seattle Sports and Regenerative Medicine. Get the facts here from the patients I've talked to and schedule your consultation at drmarkwagnermd.com.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/free. openphone.com/FREE.
Bonneville International radio station contests are open to participants 18 years of age or older that are residents of Washington State unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win unless the station otherwise specifies at its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 60 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available on mynorthwest.com or in person at the station during regular business hours.
Bathfitter just hit a big milestone, 42,000 installations in Western Washington. To celebrate, Bathfitter's offering payments as low as $125 a month. Ursula Royteen here. I chose Bathfitter Northwest because they work here, they live here, and they love making bathrooms better for their neighbors. Custom fit tub and shower solutions are installed in as little as 1 day, and every installation is backed by a lifetime warranty. Call Bathfitter or visit bathfitternw.com to schedule a free consultation. This special offer won't last.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. The West Coast unites over vaccines. The governors of Washington, Oregon, and California announced they are bypassing guidance from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has more.
State Health Secretary Dennis Worsham says from here on, if any CDC guidance on any health issue, not just vaccines, appears rooted in politics instead of science, the newly formed West Coast Health Alliance will seek guidance from other trusted health organizations.
We as an alliance will work together to review the data that is being put out from these academies and these national organizations in order to make recommendations for the people here in the state of Washington.
Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
In Florida, the state surgeon general, Dr. Joseph Ladapo, says he plans to end all vaccine mandates. That includes for school children.
Who am I as a government or anyone else, or who am I as a man standing here now to tell you what you should put in your body?
Florida would be the first state to eliminate vaccine mandates. FBI now says those bones found during a search for accused killer Travis Decker are animal remains. The search last month covered nearly 250 acres of rugged terrain near the crime scene in Leavenworth. That is where Decker's 3 daughters were found dead in June. FBI says several other items were also recovered at the scene. They are still being analyzed. A Thurston County commissioner has introduced a local ordinance that would keep federal immigration agents out of wildfire zones. Wayne Fournier says this follows last week's arrest of 2 crew members on the Bear Gulch fire.
I've been in the fire service for almost 30 years, and this is not business as usual.
Border Patrol says those firefighters were in the country illegally. Fournier's proposal would limit federal enforcement in active emergency zones like wildfires. Let's go now to the real-time traffic desk at 3:32. Here's Nate Connors.
Thanks, Aaron. Lake Washington Windows and Doors has our update. South Tacoma, North 5 at 56. The crash still blocks that right lane. You're backed up bumper to State Route 512. Olympia to Tacoma has inched up a bit to 50 minutes. Now, South 5 is heavy from about the Tacoma Dome to the scene. That's just a looky-loo backup. Tacoma to Olympia, though, outside of this, there isn't really a whole lot slowing you down. So it's just taking 35 minutes to travel Tacoma to Olympia. In Parkland, eastbound 512 is solid from I-5 to just past State Route 7, where I see a collision on your right shoulder. Seattle to Federal Way is 40-minute drive. You're heavy from Interurban Avenue to State Route 516. North 5 at Seneca still dealing with a collision in that left lane, and you're backed up to the West Seattle Bridge. South 5 is packed from Lake City Way to I-90. Southbound 99 heavy approaching the Aurora Bridge down to Mercer. Seattle to Everett, Bellevue to Everett are both at 50 minutes. And again in North Bend, westbound 90, 436, 2 right lanes in the on-ramp are closed for a fatality investigation involving a couple semis. You're sitting in a 1.5 mile bumper-to-bumper backup. Lake Washington Windows Autumn Savings Event is on now. Save $500 per window, $1,000 per door, plus 12 months, same as cash financing. Details at lakewashingtonwindows.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Thank you, Nate. Your forecast brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Hazy sunshine once again today. Air quality right now, good to moderate for most of the lowlands here. And looking at temperatures in the low 80s right now, 81 in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Home Comfort Alliance, when it comes to heating, cooling, plumbing, and electric. It's Home Comfort Alliance. They came out to the barn, put in a heat pump last year. They did the mini split. These guys are great. You'll love working with them at homecomfortalliance.com. I was talking to Rye yesterday. I said I was listening to the second cup of coffee there at KOZI, Community Radio. I said, what happened to you on Saturday? I had like 30 seconds of music bed. Music just like this. Leaning in on the radio. Like, where is he? He said, oh, you heard that? Said, yeah, what happened? I forgot to turn the microphone on. He was talking for like about a minute. Just happened to me. It must be genetic. All righty, here we go. It's a day in history, Joe. Okay, in 1783, the Paris of Treaty is signed. 1770.
Treaty of Paris.
Treaty of Paris.
Yeah.
1777, Stars and Stripes fly in the battle for the first time.
Oh.
Ooh. 1919, Wilson embarks on a tour to promote the League of Nations. What a scoundrel POS that guy was.
Not your favorite.
Oh! Horrible human being. Should have stayed at Princeton. 1939, Britain and France declare war on Germany. 1928, penicillin is discovered by Sir Alexander Fleming. I think it was a mistake, too. Isn't that normally how those things work out? I think bubble wrap was a mistake. I think silly putty and
Post-it
penicillin.
notes. Viagra was also a mistake.
Okay. Thank you, Joe.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to go with 1939, Britain and France declare war. All right. A couple things that people might not know about. So let's go right to the end of the war. There were more lives lost. So in the 2,500 years of history recorded, it was the largest death toll ever, World War II. And amazingly, there were more, Mao killed more in 30 years, 60 million with communism. But just as far as in 6-year span, the number of lives lost. And here's the thing that people don't realize. The majority of lives lost were civilians. In World War I, 60% of the deaths were soldiers. In World War II, 20% were soldiers. 80% of the people that died were civilians. And the other weird thing was the losers, right? Japan, Italy, and Germany, they actually killed more of us than they had on their side, 60 to 65 million. And Germany and Japan were ruthless. And the most amount of people that they killed were Russian civilians and Chinese civilians, 40 to 45 million. In fact, the German army killed 7 times more people than died on their side. Japan killed 8 times more than died on their side. And it was a 6-year war and the most amount of lives lost. And now, here is a wild part of the story that you may or may not know. So, Roosevelt's in there, and he says, we're not going to go to war. We're not going to go in with Germany. We're not going to do anything against Nazi Hitler. We got nothing. We're not going to do it because they have to understand something. The United States and Great Britain were not friends. They were economic rivalries. And they also still didn't exactly like the fact they broke away from Great Britain. There was not exactly a lot of love between these two countries. So when Britain is in there and France is in there declaring war on this day back in 1939, the U.S. is just sitting back. And Roosevelt's like, nope, and I told you I'm not going to war. We're no way we're going to war. Charles Lindbergh had this whole thing called America First. No way are we going to go fight in Europe. We did it. 1917, we were in there in World War I. We are not going back. In fact, most of Americans did not want to go to a war. 7% of Americans thought they should declare war on Germany. In April 1941, still people are like, no way, we're not getting in there. Now, here's the weird stuff. Great Britain gets this Canadian by the name of William Stevenson, and he becomes a spy for Great Britain and then gets himself embedded into this new agency that Roosevelt had in place, which was basically, hey, let us know what Britain's doing, let us know what Germany's doing, just get the information to Roosevelt. Well, William Stevenson's like, oh, sure, no problem. And what he ends up doing is completely BSing Roosevelt. In fact, at one point, he makes a completely, absolutely ridiculous map and hands it to Roosevelt and says, look at this. Look what the Nazis are going to do. And then Roosevelt buys it hook, line, and sinker.
I have in my possession a secret map.
A secret map that's been completely made up in order to scare the crap out of America so that the rest of you rubes will want to go to war against Germany. Roosevelt didn't know it was a crappy map. He had no idea it comes from William Stevenson.
Made in Germany by Hitler's government.
And Hitler hears this. He's like, I do not do this. We didn't do that. That's not my map. We have nothing to do with that map. What are you talking about?
That map, my friends, makes clear the Nazi design not only against South America, but against the United States as well. Nobody who admires qualities of courage and endurance can fail to be stirred by the full-fledged resistance of the Russian people. Russia needs all kinds of help. The needs of her huge armies will continue And our help and British help will also continue.
Okay, so this guy ends up slipping about 20 bull crap stories a week into our newspapers, into our film reels. He makes up this entire story about these British paratroopers who dropped in with grenades and machine guns and blasted away at all these Nazis and took 40 of them to prison as prisoners and killed all these other people, and then were able to come out as heroes. Absolute crap. None of it was true, but the British wanted to influence the American people. They thought this guy, William Stevenson, who was from Canada, could come in there and do it, and he did it. And after a while, enough of this stuff happened that the United States was like, yeah, maybe we should do this. Now, the unions liked the fact that they were getting lots of money when they were supporting France and Great Britain, but they couldn't get the full commitment of it. Well, after that wild story about the map, at that point, Germany's like, yeah, maybe we'll declare war on the U.S. Well, then Japan comes in and bombs us, and then at that point, all bets are off, and we are all in. But that guy, William Stevenson, ends up becoming the main character and the inspiration for Bond, James Bond.
Wow.
Isn't that wild?
That's crazy.
Wild and crazy stuff. Wild and crazy stuff.
Ian Fleming was the Bond writer, right?
Yes, Ian Fleming noted Stevenson's martinis were shaken and not stirred. He was installed as the M16 U.S. office. Churchill, his secret code word, Churchill gave him the secret code name, Intrepid.
So did they ever find out he was a spy before the war ended?
Yeah, later on they found out that he was in there kind of kicking stuff up. Yeah, so I guess that would be some, is that disinformation, everybody?
Fake news.
Fake news, disinformation, yeah. I have in my hand a map. I'm sure Stevens is like, yes, perfect.
I have in my possession a secret map.
Secret map.
Secret map.
Made in Germany by Hitler's government.
Crazy.
And now you know the rest of the story.
Yeah, I should have done it. And that man's name was James Bond.
That was a good one.
I hope people enjoy these things.
I do.
Because I'm not married to them.
Oh, come on. You love these rabbit holes.
I do.
Yeah.
All right. I'm married. I do love flirting with these history stories. All right, Nathan, how's it looking out there?
Oh, we're getting busy out there, John. D.R. Horton has the update. In South Tacoma, we did clear our collision, however, North 5 at 56 from the right lane, so it's opening up this backup at State Route 512. Olympia to Tacoma, still about 50 minutes. South 5, that backup is quickly thinning out, but still heavy through that State Route 16 curve. Parkland, eastbound 512, this backup is thinning out as well between I-5 and State Route 7. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway, plan on 50 minutes. You're pretty slow between Renton and Kent. You'll clear out in Auburn, and then we're packed again south of Highway 18. Bellevue to Renton is a half hour. Your typical backup here starting at 520. Here in Seattle, North 5 at Seneca, a collision still blocks this left lane. You're back to bumper to the West Seattle Bridge. I thought this would be a bigger backup. It's not too bad considering. South 5 bumper to bumper from about 85th now down to I-90. Linwood to Seattle, though, 45 minutes. Our Lake Bridges, they're looking pretty good. With over 20 Puget Sound communities, D.R. Horton has the right home for you. Learn more at drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder and equal housing opportunity builder. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
If it's your birthday or somebody's birthday that you love, probably the greatest gift you can give them is telling them to sign up for the free health analysis at Longevity Medical Clinic, because you can have more birthdays. The 25 years, the doctors at Longevity Medical Clinic are dedicated to the science, the new science, this tested science that shows that life can be extended. You can get more good years if you're able to stop the big bad three that take most of us out of the game and really lead to debilitating lives, like heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. I've been a patient since 2009. I follow my doctor's instructions. And the other day when she said, there's a particular number I don't want to see above this number, John. And then when we talked on the phone, she said, this is alarming me. And then she explained to me what's happening chemically in my body. And she said, look, you are predisposed to stroke and heart disease. You got that from your father. And I've got to get that number down. So we're working on different things that we could do, because I don't want to throw a stroke and I want to be around as long as possible because Joe loves me. So, take the free health analysis right now at longevitymedicalclinic.com. You'll thank me as you enjoy many, many, many birthdays at longevitymedicalclinic.com.
This is a test of your emergency alert system.
One 877 Cards for Kids. KARS Cards for Kids.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS.
1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too?
Upgrade your home comfort and save 20% during the Bob's Heating preseason furnace sale. With great savings plus free financing on heat pumps, water heaters, generators, and more, our award-winning team has what you need to stay cozy this chilly season at a cost you're comfortable with. Voted best in the Pacific Northwest, we're honored to be your dedicated home comfort company since 1957. Call Bob's and save today.
Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call Bob.
What does it take to get justice for a man paralyzed after a cycling accident? Thousands of documents reviewed, hundreds of thousands of dollars paid for experts and investigations, and over 6 years of hard-fought litigation fighting all the way to the Washington State Supreme Court. Because when King County said he deserved nothing, we proved he deserved better. $10 million better.
Everything that could be done was being done to help us.
Chris did a great job. Call Davis Law Group today at 206-888-8888.
Out at the Wilcox family farm, our hens roam freely on fresh green pasture. But that means predators like coyotes and eagles are always nearby. That's where our team of Great Pyrenees help out. These gentle giants were born to protect, and they become a part of our family. Raised alongside the chickens from puppyhood. Our hens are raised humanely, our practices are organic, and our promise is simple. Fresh eggs straight from our farm to your table. Wilcox Family Farms, locally fresh since 1909.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have leaf filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Are you looking at senior living options for you or a loved one? If so, you likely have many questions like, what can I afford? How long will my savings last? And if I run out of money, will I have to move out? If these questions are weighing on you, I'm here to talk you through different solutions. Hi, I'm Amanda from Care Partners Senior Living. At Care Partners, we're focused on offering high-quality, compassionate care at very affordable prices to help stretch and preserve your assets. And if you ever run out of funds and need to convert to Medicaid, you won't have to move. We have vibrant communities throughout Western Washington, Spokane, and Arizona offering independent, assisted living, and memory care. Our caregivers are some of the most loving and genuine people you'll ever meet. Stretch your assets, preserve your estate, and never worry about moving. That's peace of mind in the Care Partners Living difference. Learn more at carepartnersliving.com. Care Partners is excited to announce our newest communities in Port Orchard, Sumner, Snohomish, and North Creek Bothell. Visit carepartnersliving.com.
Switching bath soap from sandalwood to tropical essence? That's glamping in the rainforest. Sometimes a different way is the better way. Like the SR 509 Expressway near SeaTac. Tolling soon. Free Good2Go sticker pass at goodtogo509.com.
You can write to us. It's good and good for you to write to us. You get a chance to vent that spleen of yours. You can live without, but best to vent it.
Vent everything.
Thank you, Teeny. Vent everything?
Yeah. Let the air in, you know?
Okay. Let it out. Something has to go out first for the air to come in. 1-888-973-5476. 1-888-973-5476. Thank you very much for the haiku that was given to Athena.
No, it was for Nicole.
Oh, to Nicole? She got one? Oh, okay. Good. We'll have to play it a little later on. In the meantime, Waymo. What's wrong?
Nothing. Well, good pronunciation.
Thank you. The fleet of driverless Waymo cars in San Francisco. Residents nearby were upset. This is a story a little while ago. They were mad because the things were honking at each other. They're talking to each other.
Yeah, it's a fleet at 4 a.m. getting ready to leave.
And why were they beeping? Did anybody figure that out?
I can't remember. They did, but I just don't remember.
Yeah. And they are also, the reason we're bringing this up is because they're coming. The driverless cars are coming to Seattle. San Francisco's driverless taxis struggle occasionally. This is so unfair to the poor robots.
You guys want to see something funny?
You.
Driverless car. There's bumper to bumper in front of them. Another driverless car, another one. So they hold up all this traffic because they usually won't pull out in traffic. Because out here, you got to muscle your way in to the traffic there. And they usually won't, and people usually won't let them in. So then they're here forever. Then they start honking.
Yeah, it's really, because you got to do the wave, and they're like, hey, can I do the old thing? Can I get in? Can you just, will you? And then, okay, go ahead. That car just sits there.
Yeah.
And then another one piles up behind another one. They all just sort of sits there. So that's a part of the problem. Eventually what will happen is these driverless cars will be in the majority, not the minority. And then when you try to do the can I, the car will have lasers or machine guns that'll come out and just destroy your car.
That's right.
That's what happens when eventually the robots take over. TikTok driver trying to get help. Oh, this is the guy that got stuck in the car?
Okay, why is this happening to me on a Monday? I'm in a Waymo car.
Connected to rider support. This call may be recorded for quality assurance.
This car is just going in circles.
Hi there, Mike. This is Gab. I'm calling from Waymo support. I'm just calling because I received a notification that your car might be experiencing some routing issue. Please bear with me while I am...
Yeah, I got a flight to catch. Why is this thing going in a circle? I'm getting dizzy.
He was in a parking lot.
Look at what it's doing.
Yeah.
I understand. I'm really, really sorry, Mike. We're currently working with the situation of the vehicle. Is it circling around a parking lot, right?
It's circling.
Okay, fine. By the way, that was from 3.5 months ago. He's still in the car.
That's true.
But the nice thing is he's had another driverless car was doing DoorDash come to his car, and he's just been able to live in the thing. So it's all working out well. So Seattle announces that, yes, they are coming. Don't expect to see them on the road anytime soon. The big concern is always that these things replace Uber and Lyft drivers. So what can the government do to protect Uber and Lyft drivers? Remember, they were trying to protect cab drivers, so they blocked Uber and Lyft. Then they decided that they were going to get involved in what Uber and Lyft drivers get paid, which is reduce the number of rides that Uber and Lyft drivers are getting, because it's now in the city of Seattle, I think we're one of the most expensive. The most expensive, right? And when this thing comes in, the city council is going to jump in and go, well, no, the Uber and Lyft drivers, we need to save them. So I'm just thinking that somehow I just can't see them being too excited about the free market at work.
I can't wait till these are 80% of the cars.
Will you? If they're 10%, you ride with them?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Then you don't have to. I had a guy yesterday, an Uber driver, and he's... and it affected his tip.
Yeah.
His respiratory system. Just this weird whistling sound.
It's very uncomfortable.
So I was like, do I tip him 15 or 20%? It's like, the nose hair, the exhalation, it's going to cost you. Sorry. Here's Nate. Take a look at roads for us. Nathan?
Did you say something to him at least?
No, what am I going to say? Hey, with the nose hair and the exhalation.
Yeah. All right. Lake Washington Windows and Doors has our update. Let's update you with our issues up on I-90 in North Bend, westbound 90 at 436. 2 right lanes and the on-ramp remain blocked where we have a fatality investigation underway involving a couple semis. You are now in a 2-mile bumper-to-bumper backup. Eastbound 90 has a 3-mile backup approaching the summit. This is actually improved from an hour ago. Road work has a couple lanes blocked in this section. North Bend to Ellensburg has improved to an hour 35 minutes. We're down to about a 20-minute delay here. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway will take you 50 minutes. You're bumper to bumper from Highway 18 into Puyallup, where we have the fair going on. Here in Seattle, we finally cleared that collision North 5 at Seneca. Just a brief backup here. South 5 is bumper to bumper from Lake City Way to I-90. Linwood to Seattle has improved a bit, taking 35 minutes now. And Seattle to Everett and Bellevue to Everett are both pushing 55 minutes. Lake Washington Windows Autumn Savings Event is on now. Save $500 per window, $1,000 per door, plus 12 months, same as cash financing. Details at lakewashingtonwindows.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Man wide open, touchdown Seahawks.
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones, left tackle. The anchor to the left side of the offensive line for the Seahawks that went to the Super Bowl. One of the best players in franchise history.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate, Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. So, Greg, we've got a new administration. What have we seen as a result at the IRS?
Well, the result that I think everyone has seen is, unfortunately, reduction in staff.
And yet people think that because of those reductions, they're in a better spot.
Well, it's not necessarily the case, because the IRS is still going to work with the staff that they have. And in fact, their collection activity is going up.
But now is also the best time to get something done that could be favorable to the taxpayer who owes.
It's very interesting. I've had 2 cases now that I was able to get settled with the IRS fairly quickly and with some excellent results. I think they're just trying to get any case where there's a real live person working on it through the system quicker. They're needing to handle a lot more cases. The caseload isn't going to slow down.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, call Greg Nunn, None Better Tax Resolution, 425-947-1967, or Google NUNN, None Better Tax Resolution.
So my mother is thinking of switching from Verizon to Pure Talk, but she's worried the deal sounds too good to be true. Michael, she said, how can those Pure Talk people offer me the same basic service as Verizon for so much less money? I said, Mom, go ask Google how much Verizon spends on advertising and promotion. A few seconds later, my mother said, oh my goodness, $12 billion a year? That must be a typo. I'll tell you what I told my mom. It's not a typo. Verizon spends $12 billion a year on advertising and promotion, and their customers are paying for it. Well, Pure Talk doesn't spend that kind of money on commercials. Trust me, I would know. Consequently, they can offer you and my mother unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data on a blazing fast 5G network for just $25 a month. Dial pound 250 and say the words Mike Rowe, and you'll get an additional 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 Mike Rowe. Pure Talk. Everything you need and nothing you don't.
Hi, I'm Justin Shirley. We offer 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for 24 months on new roofs. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF now. State Roofing and Exteriors. Held to a higher standard since 1968.
An illegal alien from Guatemala charged with raping a child in Massachusetts. An MS-13 gang member from El Salvador accused of murdering a Texas man. A Venezuelan charged with filming and selling child pornography in Michigan. These are just some of the heinous migrant criminals caught because of President Donald J. Trump's leadership. I'm Kristi Noem, the United States Secretary of Homeland Security. Under President Trump, attempted illegal border crossings are at the lowest levels ever recorded, and over 100,000 illegal aliens have been arrested. If you are here illegally, you're next. You will be fined nearly $1,000 a day, imprisoned, and deported. You will never return. But if you register using our CBP Home app and leave now, you could be allowed to return legally. Do what's right. Leave now. Under President Trump, America's laws, border, and families will be protected.
Sponsored by the United States Department of Homeland Security.
Bathfitter just hit a big milestone, 42,000 installations in Western Washington. To celebrate, Bathfitter's offering payments as low as $125 a month. Ursula Royteen here. I chose Bathfitter Northwest because they work here, they live here, and they love making bathrooms better for their neighbors. Custom fit tub and shower solutions are installed in as little as 1 day, and every installation is backed by a lifetime warranty. Call Bathfitter or visit bathfitternw.com to schedule a free consultation. This special offer won't last.
Tomorrow night, see Tracy Lawrence live at the Muckleshoot Casino Event Center. Hear the hits you love like Time Marches On and Paint Me a Birmingham, one night only, tomorrow at 8 p.m. Tickets are almost gone. Get yours now for Tracy Lawrence, tomorrow at Muckleshoot Casino Event Center.
If you want thick, healthy, gorgeous hair, then you need Hair Volume from New Nordic. Available online at Amazon and NewNordicUSA.com or in the hair care aisle at your local CVS.
Continue to protect predators, or will you finally protect survivors?
President Trump considering troop locations.
Do we go to Chicago, or do we go to a place like New Orleans?
U.S. targeting drug gangs.
We're not going to sit back anymore and watch these people sail up and down the Caribbean like a cruise ship.
This is the CBS World News Roundup Late Edition. I'm Jennifer Kuiper. Jeffrey Epstein survivors on Capitol Hill call for transparency and the full files to be released. CBS's Natalie Brand.
One by one, women who say they were victimized and abused by Jeffrey Epstein shared their stories, some for the first time publicly.
I was one of dozens of girls that I personally know who were forced into Jeffrey's mansion.
The survivors stood alongside Republican Congressman Thomas Massie of Kentucky and Democratic Representative Ro Khanna of California, who are trying to force a vote requiring that the Justice Department turn over all files related to the case within 30 days.
One Epstein survivor says they've been discussing the creation of their own list of people within Epstein's orbit. Another adds,
the truth is, Epstein had a free pass. He bragged about his powerful friends, including our current president, Donald Trump. It was his biggest brag, actually.
President Trump says of the Epstein controversy,
it's really a Democrat hoax.
As Chicago prepares for National Guard troops and immigration agents based on comments by President Trump, he now says he might focus on New Orleans first.
I think the people of those places the politicians are not in tune with the people. The people in Chicago, the people in Baltimore, the people in all of the places we talk about, they want to see us there. And I think we're pretty much waiting till we get asked.
The president says Louisiana's Republican governor wants federal help. A day after President Trump said 11 members of a narco-terrorist group were killed in a U.S. strike on a boat loaded with drugs from Venezuela, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth tells Fox News,
it won't stop with just this strike. Anyone else trafficking in those waters who we know is a designated narco-terrorist will face the same fate.
A win for Harvard in its battle against Trump administration funding cuts. CBS's Matt Piper.
The judge says the Trump administration violated Harvard University's First Amendment rights and federal law when it froze more than $2 billion in federal grants because of the Ivy Leaguers' handling of anti-Semitism on campus. The judge says the cuts amounted to illegal retaliation for Harvard's rejection of White House demands for changes to its governance and policies. If the ruling stands, it would revive Harvard's research operation and hundreds of projects that lost federal money.
It's a big draw for tourists in Portugal, and now 15 people are dead and 18 others injured after a landmark streetcar in Lisbon derails in what's being called an accident. Now this.
Sponsored by Progressive Insurance. We offer auto, home, and commercial auto insurance, plus a variety of business insurance options. Visit Progressive.com today.
Coming up, federal oversight of Seattle police comes to an end. That's after Nate Connors at the Real-Time Traffic Desk.
Thanks, Aaron. Everett to Marysville, you're doing okay this afternoon. 15 minutes max. Seattle to Everett, Bellevue to Everett are both around 55 minutes apiece. Now, northbound 405 is heavy between Kirkland and Bothell. North 5 is solid from Lake City Way through Linwood. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway, a 50-minute commute. We're pretty crowded between Renton and Kent, and then it's bumper to bumper from Highway 18 all the way into Puyallup. We cleared our earlier collision, North 5 at Seneca in downtown Seattle about 15 minutes ago. Still got a pretty thick backup approaching the West Seattle Bridge. South 5, you're bumper to bumper from Lake City Way to I-90. Little more crowding in Linwood, all added up. Linwood to Seattle's at 35 minutes. Our Lake Bridges look good. Bellevue to Renton's a half hour. Tacoma to Olympia is at 45 minutes. KIRO Newsradio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle. KIRO News Radio, 97.3
FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO Newsradio and mynorthwest.com.
Good afternoon. I'm Aaron Granillo. After 13 years of federal oversight, total control of the Seattle Police Department has been returned to the city. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has the updates.
It was back in 2012 that the DOJ and the city of Seattle entered into a consent decree to address findings that SPD engaged in a pattern or practice of unnecessary or excessive force. Mayor Harrell says the culture of the department has changed.
When you look at the use of force, 2012, 1 out of 5 incidents involving the police, there was unreasonable force. Now, less than 1%.
Harrell says officers now know there are expectations and there will be consequences. In Seattle, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
Jet Chevrolet in Federal Way has been hit by catalytic converter thieves yet again. KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay with that story.
Owner Ken Dinsmore tells the Jason Rantz Show on Seattle Red 770 AM that 18 converters were stolen from 9 commercial vehicles in one night.
$100,000 in damage. It makes my stomach just sink thinking about it, honestly.
And he says insurance will only cover about 25% of the loss. The company's now considering selling vehicles without converters and installing them after purchase. Jet Chevrolet has been targeted nearly 10 times. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
An undercover operation led Seattle police to a drug bust at an auto body shop in the Chinatown International District. Captain Mike Strand says they've been keeping watch on the business at 8th and Jackson for the past 2 months.
The 2 primary suspects are dealing narcotics and will face charges for that. And then many of the employees inside were also involved in this activity.
Now, police confirm they seized narcotics at the site this morning. Not clear yet how much or what kind of drugs they found. 3 Seattle parks are temporarily closed for 60 days. City leaders say they need to be updated, citing negative park activity. These closures affect parks in the Lake City and Central District areas. Seattle Times reports they're getting new lighting, fencing, or garden beds. The parks are expected to reopen in late October, days before the November election. Weather now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. For the rest of tonight, we'll see some hazy sunshine out there, and then some decent air quality issues as well. Good to moderate for most of Western Washington. Right now, 81 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
We're not over. It's not over. It's not over until I say so. We're not over. We're not over because I mean, for me, it's not over.
This is Aaron talking about the baseball season.
This is just the beginning.
There we go. Come on, Aaron. Come on.
It's not over.
It's not over. It's not.
We're not over.
It's not.
That's right.
Come on now.
Come on now.
There you go. Come on now. A little chatter.
Go. Boy, could we use a win tonight.
There you go. Come on now. Have a little chatter in there.
Boy.
Come on, guys.
It's not over.
Okay. Time to get in there. I'll tell you what is over. There's your segue for you. Wow, after 13 years, I guess Seattle Police Department has finally learned its lesson. Right? The consent decree came in after filing what goes up to the federal government, then they come in and the feds come in and they start sniffing around. And 2011, they're like, we got a problem right here. Got a problem right here in River City. And so it begins. 2012, it begins. And basically the setup is you're going to have the federal government come in and we're going to put a monitor in place, and then we're going to watch you guys, and we're going to look at the data, and we're going to make sure that you straighten everything out there, because we've got a big problem there in Seattle. I had the pleasure of talking with Bob Sales probably about a year and a half ago. Bob, you were the former King County Deputy Prosecutor, Special Assistant to the United States Attorneys in Western District of Washington, 14 years, the City of Seattle as a Public Safety Advisor with 3 mayors. And you have such a strong opinion about these consent decrees. And the last time you were on, you punched so many holes in this. The people that were listening to you, Bob, were like, really? It cost that much money? And that's what was really going on? Are you celebrating the fact that it has come to an end after 13 years?
No, there's nothing to celebrate. I mean, before the consent decree, Seattle PD was one of the best police departments in the country. Now, after 13 years of the consent decree, it's one of the worst.
Well, there's the headline. All right, Bob, thanks for joining us. We'll move on. Wait a minute. Wait. Okay, back that up. The best department, as compared to others? And are you looking at use of force? How do you make the statement on what facts from Seattle being best to Seattle being worst? Where were we, say, 13 years ago?
Sure. I mean, a lot of it goes back to the WTO protests. And after that, the Seattle PD did a lot of sort of soul searching and looking inward and bringing in a lot of experts. And basically, through the early 2000s, under Chief Kurlikowski, developing one of the best departments in the country. And so the department had a 3-tier civilian oversight structure. It had a comprehensive de-escalation and crisis intervention training, a very comprehensive community policing model. And I many times I went, as a city employee, went out to Washington, D.C. to hear accolades from the feds about what a great department we were. And we were so good that Chief Kurlikowski went on to become Obama's drug czar and then head of Customs and Border Patrol. So we must have been doing something right. And we were literally world experts in demonstration management. Departments would come from around the world to figure out how Seattle deals with mass demonstrations, and there were a lot of them in the early 2000s.
And we were also held up as a standard of behavior when it came to use of force. Seattle, if you look at the numbers, we were nowhere in the top 15 when it came to use of force. And there's 3 different levels of force. So here we are, we're rolling along. Other cities are coming here. We're being held in high regard. And then what happens?
Well, a series of things happened. One was the shooting of John T. Williams in 2010, which the department quickly, they had a firearms review board with a civilian advisor. The department quickly called the firearms review board to review the shooting, ruled it unjustified. The officer was told, if you don't resign, you're going to be fired. The department forwarded the case to the U.S. attorney. The U.S. attorney declined to file charges. Then they forwarded it to the county prosecutor. The county prosecutor declined to file charges. So the officer was held accountable. The department went through, again, a lot of review process and for that. There were also, this was around about this time, were a lot of cell phone videos. And there were, you saw in the news, there were some high profile use of force incidents not involving deadly force, but was on the news on repeat about, certain use of force incidents. And so the U.S. attorney at the time, Jenny Durkin, who had close ties with Seattle and was responsible for developing or recommending the development of the civilian oversight structure, she decided that there would be a pattern of practice investigation. And she got these about 33 local organizations to write a letter to her asking for a pattern of practice investigation. And so in March of 2011, the DOJ announced that they would be conducting a pattern of practice investigation, which is a statute that was passed in 1994 after the Rodney King beating, which allows the federal government to come in and do an investigation to see if there is a pattern or practice of unconstitutional policing.
Right.
And so she launched that in 2011.
And the reason this is there's the very, very high wall between the federal use of dollars, federal dollars coming into the city and asking the city to spend money in order to do federal work. So they've got this wall in place, but you can jump over the wall if the feds believe that someone's civil rights have been violated. So then they come rushing in and they start looking around. So they look around and what do they find?
Well, it's interesting because they did their investigation in 8 months, and they had a couple of experts, retired police officials, and we gave them everything they asked for. Millions of pages of documents. There was a lot of paper documents back then. They could interview anybody they wanted in the department. We were an open book. And then one night, we didn't hear anything for 8 months. And then one night in December, the U.S. attorney summons the mayor and the police chief to her office. And then they say, tomorrow morning, we're holding a national press conference with the head of the Civil Rights Division, Tom Perez, and we're going to say that you have a pattern or practice of excessive or unnecessary force, and we're going to say that 20% of all your force is unconstitutional. And the room sort of exploded because it was like the first we'd heard of it, and then the press conference the next morning. And we said, that's not possible. It's not possible that we have 20%. We review all of our use of force, and less than 1% is found to be out of policy, and much less than 1% unconstitutional. And we said, show us the cases. They refused to show us the cases. And then we said, well, we'll voluntarily implement any reform you want. They said, no, we have to force you to reform. It won't work unless we force you to reform. And the way that Jenny Durkin described it is we have to hard bake the reforms into the department. And so we spent about 8 months negotiating back and forth, and eventually, Mayor McGinn at the time decided to sign it. I argued against it as best I could. I was representing the city in the city attorney's office, but ultimately, I think politics weighed out. The city attorney, Pete Holmes, and the city council at the time were very much in favor of the consent decree. So the mayor basically said, all right, I'll do it.
I'm just going to back up for one moment. I remember reading an editorial that was in the Seattle Times some time ago. I forget the professor might have been in SPU.
Professor Matt Hickman from Seattle University.
Oh my God, bless that guy. He said, okay, show us the evidence. So you've come in here, you've said that 20%, show us where you got the numbers from. And then he dug into it. He said they spoke to people, secondhand, thirdhand sort of stuff. They concoct this whole thing that the police are completely out of control, even though just months earlier we were being held up as a beacon of how you're supposed to treat the citizens. And then all of a sudden they come up with this total BS report, which they won't show. They don't want to show anybody where it came from. There is this past history, and now it begins. So here's the question. Why? Why? Eric Holder, the 2012, he comes in, starts looking around. Jenny Durkin does this. What's the purpose of grilling Seattle Police Department, even though they didn't really have any substantial evidence to say that there was this type of abuse against the citizens? What was the motivation?
Well, I just want to go back to Professor Matt Hickman, because he is really probably the first person ever to speak out publicly against consent decrees. And what he did was he just came to the city and he said, hey, I read these findings from DOJ. They don't make any sense to me. I'm a criminal justice researcher. Why don't you give me all the data you gave to DOJ and let me analyze it? So we did. There's 1,250 use of force incidents that we gave to DOJ. We gave them to Professor Hickman. He analyzed it and he said, there's no way that it's 20% unconstitutional. At best, it's 1%, and it's probably less, which is what we thought at the time. And so he wrote an op-ed in the Seattle Times, and he says the DOJ owes Seattle an apology because they have no evidence to back up their claim of a pattern or practice. And it was just amazing. So why? Why did all this happen?
Why?
And obviously things are very different now in the DOJ, right? Under Trump, they're very different now. So I'm talking about, the DOJ under the, Clinton, Bush, Obama, and Biden administrations, which are pretty much the same in terms of consent decrees. So DOJ does not publish anything about consent decrees. So we don't know how they select. There are 18,000 law enforcement agencies in the country. In the last 30 years, there have been about 70 consent decrees. We don't know how they choose those cities to go after. We don't know what criteria they use to find a pattern or practice. We don't know who their experts are. They don't publish their experts. We don't even know who writes the reports that find a pattern or practice. They're unsigned reports. So my belief, based on what I've seen nationally over the last few decades, is that it's 100% political. If you look at the cities, there's never been a consent decree in Texas. And it's probably because they know that the local officials would never agree to a consent decree in Texas. Seattle was investigated at the same time as Austin. Austin got a technical assistance letter. Seattle got a consent decree. And so generally more liberal cities with a large group of anti-police activists are generally easier to get compliance with local officials than a more conservative city. So DOJ comes into these more liberal cities that have typically the most progressive police departments. They come in and they say, you're all bad and we have to fix you. And the community rises up, right? They're just like, yes, we've always known the Seattle Police Department is the worst, and now we have the feds coming in to save us.
Right.
So it's a win-win for DOJ to go into these blue cities.
And they also know the cities are looking at like, okay, what do you have for a budget? We can't fight the feds. We don't have the money. Let's just roll over and then eat it. But before they eat it, the gravy train rolls up to put gravy all over it. How much money do you think, Bob Scales, has been spent on the consent decree? And where did that money go?
Well, first of all, people think, this is what most officials think, we don't have the resources to fight the DOJ, right? So let's just sign this consent decree. But the reality is that you don't have to fight the DOJ. The DOJ has the burden of proof. The DOJ has to prove in court that there's a pattern or practice. You could just sit there and do nothing, and DOJ would still have their burden of proof. And there's only one agency that's ever challenged or ever said no to the DOJ, and that was a small county in North Carolina, the Alamance County Sheriff. And he said that the DOJ came in and said, you have a pattern or practice of bias policing, and you have to sign this consent decree. And the sheriff said, nope, not going to do it. So DOJ took him to federal court. DOJ had dozens of lawyers, expert witnesses. Alamance County had one lawyer, one expert witness, and DOJ lost miserably. And every other city has said, yeah, I'll sign it, no problem. And even though they don't have to, they can't be compelled to do it. They have to prove it in court. So the costs are so, what is a consent decree? What is not? I mean, generally your monitor is this is big business,
yes.
Right? And one of the reasons that the Seattle consent decree lasted so long is because you have private for-profit monitors who are making at least $1 million a year. The Chicago monitor is making more than $4 million a year for writing a few reports. They're accountable to no one. They're paid for by local taxpayers. The federal government doesn't pay a dime. And so you have this disincentive to find compliance because the monitor only gets paid. Like the Seattle monitor now lost a job, right? Because they're in compliance, so he has no more paycheck. So that's why these monitors. But I've seen about 5 years ago, I saw a report in the Seattle Times that said it was about $200 million on the Seattle consent decree, with about $20 million for the monitor. I think it's closer to 250 million now. And it's hard to sort of separate it out exactly because basically this is doing everything that the consent decree requires you to do. Some of that stuff you might have done anyway. The monitor is definitely an add-on from the consent decree. But we had to, in Seattle, it was so crazy. In Seattle, again, we had some of the best policies around, especially for use of force, model policies. We had to rewrite everything. That took about 2 years, and bring in consultants and experts and attorneys and so much time, taking officers off the street. One of the real costs, especially for Seattle, is down about a third of their officers.
Right.
Pull so many officers off the street to deal with the consent decree and all the administrative burdens of the consent decree and the data collection, et cetera. So that's every city. Public safety has gone down when a consent decree goes into effect.
I saw that there's a study from the Manhattan Institute and from City Journal. They followed each one. Every time a consent decree goes in, the crime goes up. But just as we wrap this thing up, Bob, there were people that were working in the monitor's office that were being paid, I don't know how much, and $600 an hour, hardly doing anything, not even coming in, just simply billing. It was just an open account that just poured money out for this thing for 13 years. It's over, it's done. But for its obituary, you think the total amount from taxpayers is over $250 million?
About 250. I mean, the thing is I read something today that the city said that the total is 173 million. But we're talking a big number, whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
It's not peanuts, and that's over 13 years. But it's still you could do a lot with that kind of money. And again, what does Seattle have to show for that 173 to 250 million dollars? What is better now than before. And the thing is that one statistic I've heard is that, use of force is down by 60%. Well, from what? I mean, the thing is, it doesn't matter. Use of force is a necessary part of policing. If someone flees or assaults the officer or resists arrest, officers can lawfully use force. The issue isn't, is use of force down 60%? It's down 60% because there aren't any officers to make arrests now. The issue is what percentage of those use of force are unconstitutional? And that's what Matt Hickman was saying, is that there's no evidence we had a problem to begin with. And now you're saying, you fixed a problem that never existed in the first place.
Yeah, I mean, to put a lighter touch on it, it's like that Broadway musical Music Man. You come in, we got problems right here in River City. It's about people playing pool, so he sells everybody a bunch of trombones because that's going to help the whole thing. So, unfortunately, it's a sour note, but it's just one more scar and wound that the city of Seattle has to deal with, because I don't think a lot of people were not being honest about what's really happening with the police department. Bob Scales, thanks so much for spending some more time with us on this one, because as people were celebrating the decree, I said, wait, get Bob on the phone. He'll tell us exactly what was happening behind the scenes. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right, bye-bye. Let's go to Nate, the Beacon Plumbing. Darn it! Mark it down.
Got him.
Here's Nate.
All right, Seattle Sports has our update. In Bellevue South 405 at I-90, a disabled vehicle blocks your right lane, not the HOV lane, the right general purpose lane. You're backed up to 520. Bellevue to Renton still looking pretty good at 25, 30 minutes tops. Westbound 520 at I-5, a crash blocks the right lane of the on-ramp to northbound I-5. You're backed up to mid-span. That's bumper to bumper. Bellevue to Seattle's at 25 minutes. It's only 15 minutes crossing over on I-90. Seattle to Everett, Bellevue to Everett are both around 55 minutes. 405 heavy between Kirkland and Bothell. I-5, you're solid from Lake City Way through Linwood. Southbound I-5, heavy from Lake City Way to I-90. Linwood to Seattle's down to a half hour. Seattle to Federal Way, plan on 40 minutes. It's slow at Interurban Avenue all the way to State Route 516. And Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway, still hanging on at 50 minutes. It's bumper to bumper from Highway 18 all the way into Puyallup. Search Seattle Sports on YouTube and click subscribe to get fresh video content daily. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Endless hours of research, seeking referrals, dozens of calls. Hiring the right attorney can be a challenging process during an already difficult time. JP Pendergast with Pendergast Law explains.
In Washington State, Tom, there are thousands of attorneys to choose from. Referrals and online research can be helpful, but discovering the right attorney requires a conversation. It can be hard to identify integrity and authenticity without that interaction.
So, what do you recommend?
We encourage anyone looking for personal injury representation to call for a free consultation with our team before making a decision simply based on referrals or online research. Accident victims need an attorney that listens, demonstrates honesty, and is genuinely understanding of their unique circumstances. The care, attention, and preparation that our firm provides throughout the case mirrors the effort involved when taking on the insurance companies.
Save time and avoid mistakes after an injury. Contact the caring and compassionate team at Pendergast Law.
If you or a loved one has been injured in a car accident, call Pendergast Law. We can help.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. Jason Rance here with our local tax expert and advocate Greg Nunn from None Better Tax Resolution. So you and I have talked before about the folks who think they can do this themselves. And again, I imagine there are a lot of people who are saying, well, new administration, fewer staff members, now I truly can get it done.
Really, in this situation, I do feel really bad for the taxpayer because here you're getting a notice. You call the IRS, you're going to be on hold for 45 minutes to an hour. And so getting through is going to be more difficult. And when you do get through, you're going to be talking to people that are not as well trained as they have been in the past.
Which makes it even easier for them to take advantage, even if it's not intended, against the person who owes taxes.
I've heard it said that they just will make up something because they want to respond to the taxpayer. And people are going to get some really bad information and they're not going to know.
If you're having trouble with the IRS, call Greg Nunn, None Better Tax Resolution, 425-947-1967, or Google NUNN, None Better Tax Resolution.
At Madrona Financial and CPAs, we believe there are 7 steps that must be taken in preparation for a successful retirement. Retirement needs more than just a basic income plan. Hi, Jeff here with Madrona Financial and CPAs. Don't settle for a partial plan. Get the real deal by requesting your no-cost Madrona analysis today and discover what you may be missing. Call 833-673-7373 right now to request your analysis. That's 833-673-7373.
Guys, did you know your testosterone level impacts your energy, libido, sleep, weight, hair loss, mood, and even ED? And right now, Revive Men's Health Seattle will check your testosterone for free. They've helped thousands of men since 2011 feel and perform better. They're so confident they can help you, they even guarantee it. Schedule your free testosterone test, exam, and consultation today. Call 206-529-1111. That's 206-529-1111. Or visit ReviveMen'sHealth.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good afternoon, I'm Aaron Granillo. FBI now confirms those bones recovered last week during the search for Travis Decker are not human. The update from KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay.
The analysis of those bones was conducted at a lab at Central Washington University. Search teams spent 2 days combing the area near Leavenworth, where Decker is accused of killing his 3 daughters at a campsite.
We understand that the girls would not want us to give up.
Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison says he spoke with their mother last week.
I get her frustration. Of course, she wants the kind of closure where we can locate Travis and bring him to justice.
It's not known if he's dead or alive. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Washington, California, and Oregon announce a Western Vaccine Alliance bypassing guidance from the Trump administration. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey explains what it means for vaccine access and whether insurance companies will cover the costs.
Washington Health Secretary Dennis Worsham says the West Coast Health Alliance doesn't know yet if insurance will cover vaccinations based on state guidance.
How insurance coverage works will be a process that we'll have to learn more about going forward in how we implement that here, but we're sure that we can get there as a state.
Typically, insurance companies follow CDC immunization schedules for coverage decisions. Worsham says the alliance formed in response to Trump's mass firing of CDC doctors and scientists, replacing science with ideology. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Federal judge is weighing whether Boeing should face prosecution over those 2 deadly 737 MAX crashes. At a hearing today, victims' families urged the courts to reject a deal with the Justice Department that lets Boeing avoid prosecution. The family's attorney, Mark Lindquist, tells us.
Boeing is going to pay some very large fines. Boeing is going to have some oversight, but Boeing is eventually going to have the case dismissed.
Judge has not yet ruled on whether the DOJ deal will stand. Another round of layoffs hits Oracle workers in Seattle. The tech company says 101 employees will lose their jobs in early November. This follows a bigger round of cuts last month when the company said 161 people were being let go. Let's go now to the real-time traffic desk at 4:33. Here's Nate Connors.
Thanks, Aaron. In Bellevue, that stall south 405 at I-90 has been cleared over to your right shoulder. Bellevue to South Center, 40 minutes. Your slope from 520 to the VMAC, another backup there in South Center. Westbound 520 at I-5, our crash partially blocks the right lane. You can get by it, but you're going to have to slow down at the scene, which drivers are doing. This is at the on-ramp to northbound I-5, and you're backed up to mid-span. Bellevue to Seattle is up to a half hour, 25 minutes now on I-90. Seattle to Everett, Bellevue to Everett are right around 50 minutes. South 5, heavy from Lake City Way to I-90. Linwood to Seattle's at a half hour. You've got more backups there in Linwood to get through. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway is 50 minutes. Pretty solid backup between Renton all the way into Puyallup. You catch a little break there in Auburn. Tacoma to Olympia, plan on 45 minutes. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
And your forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Some smoke and haze west of the Cascades through Friday. Continued warm temperatures and air quality alerts east of the Cascades due to numerous wildfires. Right now, 81 in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Back to school means 10,000 buses, over 1 million students, and 60,000 teachers all hitting our roads. Even if you don't have kids, your morning routine just got a wake-up call. With KIRO 7 pinpoint weather and real-time traffic every 10 minutes, you'll be totally prepared and know what to expect before things hit. From breaking news to changing skies and slowdowns you won't see coming, KIRO 7 News in the Morning has your back. To school. Watch weekdays 4:30 to 7 a.m. only on KIRO 7 TV.
Good read. Nicely done. Wow. Is my mic on with that? Just that back?
No.
Have your back to school.
Yeah.
I'll learn something from you. Let me see. See what I've learned from you. Bucky's Auto Service Centers. You know they've got 16 locations. Been around for 55 years. Why not back your car up to Bucky's? Bucky's Auto Service Centers.
I learned that in jail.
There you go. Big news, by the way. And I like this. I like what's happened. It's just real quick, too. When I went to this wedding in Winton, Wyoming, now my favorite state because I love their license plate. And it was really nice. It was just
not the incest capital of the country, by the way.
No, who said that?
They did.
Oh. That wasn't... What? Where did he come... I think it's West Virginia, isn't it?
That's correct.
Yeah, that's the easiest place to get married because people are splitting the cost because, well, you're my cousin. They were having their Mountain Man Renaissance weekend or whatever it is. And you got to go dressed like a real mountain man. There were like 200,000 people there or something. You walk around and everybody's like being a mountain man. I still haven't done much research anyway, but we did drive by and read the sign. And there's a big thing there. Cannot enter from this entrance if you are wearing sunglasses, if you have rubber shoes on, if you're wearing like regular glasses, because you have to be authentic mountain man in order to get into this one area.
You gotta have like a pickaxe or something.
I don't look it up. Mountain man, Wyoming. Okay, the reason I bring this up is because this guy said to me, "What do you do?" I told him, do this radio show in Seattle. He said, "You must be well-versed on the news." I said, "Yeah." He goes, "You're probably the most well-versed person here. Could you do me a favor? Can you explain the whole tariff thing and whether it's working or not?" I was like, "Yes. Get yourself a drink." He gets a drink. I said, "Get yourself a bigger drink. I'll try to do it for you in 5 minutes." So I'm going to do basically the same thing I gave that guy. Gave it to you, but you don't have any alcohol in your hand, or maybe you do. So the press conference today with Trump warning that the tariffs are going to be struck down. Oh, boy, here we go.
If for some reason some liberal court, I'm talking about the court that just ruled, where even an Obama judge voted in favor of us, which I gave him a compliment yesterday, as you know. I said that took great courage. But it's a liberal court. And it's going up to the Supreme Court, who I think have been incredible people. I think they've made very wise decisions. But
watch out, here it comes.
Tariff question, because without the tariffs, this country is in serious, serious trouble. We've taken in almost $17 trillion of investment is coming in. Most of it is coming because of tariffs.
Whoa. Okay. Investments. We're going to remove the investments out and go just tariffs. Tariffs might be $130 billion, somewhere in the numbers all over the place, but it's $135 billion. That is a tariff is a tax. So basically, what he's saying is we put a tariff on these people, right? Then you have to pay it, right? Because they're going to have a tariff on there. They tariff us, they tax us. Then you buy the product, you're paying that tax. And the president was saying, what we're going to do is we're going to get all this tariff money, tax money, and then we're going to use that, to bring down the debt. Well, it's a tax on us. Every time you hear the word tariff, just think tax, because that's where the education will come in.
And if for some reason somebody wanted to be politically correct, I actually think it's unpolitically correct. I think politically correct is to approve it, because there's nothing so popular as what's happened to our country. Our country is doing...
Okay. All right. If you're a Trump fan, I get it. I know you like all this. And I like him for the fact that you know where you stand with the guy. Okay, here's what happened. So the federal circuit court, 7-4, said no, the tariffs are not constitutional. And they've given the president until October to comply with what they're saying. So it's going to go to the Supreme Court, because here's what happens. Only Congress has the power to tax, and a tax is a tariff, right? And Congress doesn't give away its power, or it shouldn't give away its power, its taxing power, or anything else. Article 1, Section 8 basically just says that that's Congress. They control the purse strings. In fact, the first act of Congress was back in 1789, which was the Tariff Act, the first act of Congress explaining about how we can tax things, tariff things, and it was in Congress's power. But the president comes in with the International Emergency Economic Powers Act, which was established in 1977. And this is post-Watergate. And it was really about trying to control the power of the executive branch so it didn't start leaking out into other areas. So that's when they establish EPA, which the president is using now, saying, oh, we need this because it's an emergency. It's an emergency. He's basically usurping the power from Congress under EPA, saying, well, we're in a state of emergency. We need to do this to balance trade because they're taking advantage of us and they're doing this and doing that. So he's mixed this whole thing together. But really what he did was, because Congress is asleep, I guess, or maybe I don't know where they are, their power is to tax and tariff. The president of the United States doesn't have the power to tariff things. They can kind of slip around the back with this emergency thing, but the Supreme Court's going to come in and they're going to have to slice it right in there and say the president cannot impose a tax. That'll be the first thing that they say. Roberts will recognize this as a tax. You do not have the power. The executive branch does not have the power. That is retained by Congress. So you can't imply this. Then they're going to have to get in there and slice out this little piece of cancer, which is the EPA, the Internal Emergency Economic Powers Act. And they got to make that thing a little bit more specific, because you just can't have the executive branch having such power over Congress. And Congress needs to wake up. Now, if they want to pass a law and they want to give the president part of this power, which they're not allowed, if they want to be able to extend it in such a way, that would be fine. But they need to rein in President Trump and saying only we can tariff and tax. You can't do it. And then the question becomes, if this is ill-begotten gains, the $138 billion came from, will the Supreme Court say you have to give that back? Now, of course, that would be way too hard to do. The other little part of it's interesting is they're going to have to say, if we tax the bananas coming in from Brazil or whatever, no tariffs on those necessarily. But the president is saying, and people in Congress are saying, we should be able to restrict and tariff what's happening with China, because the stuff that they're selling us could have a direct impact upon the security and the defense of the American people. So they're going to have to walk a fine line on it. But the Supreme Court is going to come down, bang. Sorry, Mr. President, you can't tariff these countries. And you can't say we're in an emergency, we need to tariff. So,
you think they go against him on this?
Yeah, they will. They will. Because it's Congress. By the way, Congress, I don't know who's out there. Adam Smith, somebody, do something. Michael Baumgartner, do wake up and grow a pair.
Do your job.
Grow a pair, and then get into the locker room and hit him with the dryer. You ever seen that move?
The dryer?
Oh, the hair dryer and the guy you ever seen that? You ever been in a locker room when guys are doing that?
No.
Oh. So unnecessito. Here's Nate taking a look at traffic. Nathan?
Yes, sir. Shoreline, South 5, approaching 145th. The collision blocks your right lane. You're backed up to 175th. But once you get through this backup, you're clear all the way until you hit Lake City Way. From there, it's packed down to I-90. Linwood to Seattle is up to 40 minutes. Westbound 520 at I-5. A crash still partially blocks the right lane. At the on-ramp to northbound I-5, you're backed up to mid-span. Bellevue to Seattle, right around a half hour still. We're catching up on I-90 at 25 minutes. Seattle to Federal Way is at 35. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway, 50 minutes. Pretty solid the whole length now between Renton and Puyallup. Tacoma to Olympia will take you 45 minutes. And up toward North Bend, if you're expecting someone from Eastern Washington, they've got a little slowdown westbound 90 at 436th, where 2 right lanes and the on-ramp remain blocked. The scene of a fatality investigation. Right now, you're sitting in about a 2-mile bumper-to-bumper backup. This report brought to you by Seattle Sports. You can always listen to your favorite local sports content on the FM dial on 97.3 HD2. KIRO Newsradio real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Okay, if you're like me, over the age of 50, you don't want to wear readers or glasses or contact lenses, and every year you go and you're like, well, you need another prescription. The glasses keep getting thicker and thicker. Sun hits them a certain way, and you just kill all the ants in front of you. You want to make sure that you talk to Dr. Kopstein or one of the other doctors over there at K2 Vision, because here's what you'll find at K2 Vision. There's this thing called RLE, Refractive Lens Exchange. And if you're over the age of 50, you might be a great candidate. I happen to go in there. I said, please, I don't want to have to keep getting more and more glasses. I got a whole drawer full of them. So Dr. Kopstein says, don't get too excited. I might ask you to come back in 10, 15, or 20 years. I'm like, 20 years? Let's see. So he looks in there because I want this to have great results for you. And he looks in both my eyes, you get a little cataract in your right eye. We can do this, and this is going to have excellent results. So I sign up. 5 minutes one eye, 5 on the other. I go back in. I think the next day, I've got 20/20 vision. I have 20/20 vision. I'm 63 years old. I don't wear any glasses, no contacts, no nothing. Eagle eye. That's what they call me around here. Not really, but I'd like you to start calling me that. K2VisionRLE.com. That's K2VisionRLE.com. Do it. I'm telling you. If you're a good candidate, sign up. Let's get 20/20 vision for you. K2VisionRLE.com.
With football season comes cooler weather, so if you need new windows and doors, don't drop the ball. Steve Rabel here. Call on locally owned Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington to tackle your project. Their wide selection of windows and doors always beats the competition, and they'll give you top-notch customer service with no trick plays. Schedule a free consultation with Pella Windows and Doors of Western Washington. Go to PellaPNW.com. That's PellaPNW.com.
Let's go! You're still glowing, flirting, grooving. You still got it. But your immune system weakens as you age, making it harder to fight flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Vaccines are a key part of any health routine and help strengthen your immune response. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Schedule in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the final days of Sleep Number's biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale. Up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed. Ends Monday. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
Did you know that nearly half the homes in Western Washington are not properly insulated or not insulated at all? That may be the reason why your home is way too hot in the summer and way too cold in the winter. It may also be the reason that your energy bills are sky high. Right now, Insulation Northwest is offering a free inspection of your home's insulation. This is a $199 value and it's absolutely free, no obligation. Just call today and Insulation Northwest will arrange a time that works with with your schedule. We'll perform a thorough exam of your home's insulation and give you the advice you need to start saving thousands. Everyone who calls today will also receive a free infrared screening of your home using the latest technology. This will help reveal any hidden flaws in your home's protective energy blanket. What do you have to lose? It only takes about an hour and it's absolutely free. Call Insulation Northwest today, the real insulation company.
InsulationNorthwest.com. Mariners fans, it's time to bring the noise to T-Mobile Park. This lineup is loaded up and locked in from every moonshot.
Now Raleigh obliterates this. How far? Way back there.
To every how in the world did he catch that moment?
And Julio makes the catch. No fly zone in full effect.
Be here as the squad shuts the door and lights the W.
Munoz looking for the final out. Here's the stretch, and the strike three called, and the ball game is over.
This is our house.
They're going crazy here at T-Mobile Park.
Mariners baseball. Tridents up.
Be here for the stretch run at T-Mobile Park. The Mariners are kicking off their next homestand with a 3-day Logan Gilbert Funko Pop giveaway against the Cardinals, September 8th to 10th. Plus, don't miss the final Mariners fireworks night of the season, September 12th against the Angels, presented by T-Mobile. Get your tickets today at mariners.com.
Upgrade your home comfort and save 20% during the Bob's Heating preseason furnace sale. With great savings plus free financing on heat pumps, water heaters, generators, and more, our award-winning team has what you need to stay cozy this chilly season at a cost you're comfortable with. Voted best in the Pacific Northwest, we're honored to be your dedicated home comfort company since 1957. Call Bob's and save today.
Bob's Heating and Air Conditioning. Call Bob.
Cold is leaking and rats are moving and mold is creeping and water seeping in. It's hard to be a homeowner, we know.
Without American Crawl Space and Pest Services, it is hard to be a homeowner. Dave Ross here. American Crawl are the heroes to call for insulation and pest issues because in addition to their great reviews and decades of experience, they also give out the most PSE insulation rebates of any insulation company in the state.
American Crawl, the heroes you call.
Get your free inspection at AmericanCrawl.com.
Celebrate 31 seasons of world-class jazz with the Seattle Repertory Jazz Orchestra at Dimitro's Jazz Alley. 4 nights of hard-swinging big band favorites with guest vocalist Jacqueline Tabor. This Thursday through Sunday. Tickets at jazzalley.com.
Teeny is anxiously awaiting more letters. She's gone through everything, the entire stack already, and she says she needs more when she's trying to...
so sad.
Can you press the button so she can't hear me for a moment? I'm so sick of her. Let's just quick vote. Who would be upset if Teeny never came back to work again? Joe.
You would be upset if she
I would not be upset.
You would not be upset. Andrew?
If she got another job doing something else, she got another job, she never came back.
I would be upset if she never came back.
All right. So you want her to stick around? I voted on this?
I do.
I do. All right. Hey, Teeny, we still going to need a letter of the day. 1-888-973-5476.
Right.
There we go. Okay, good. Thank you for that one. Let's see. The Department of Agriculture uses AC/DC song to safeguard cattle. How do they do that? I'm sure. Oh, from the wolves, because the wolves don't like it. Right. That's the problem.
These newly released images show how the U.S. Agriculture Department is saving cattle from being attacked by wolves. The department is using drones with thermal cameras to reveal any wolves lurking nearby. Once spotted, they play certain sounds from the drones, loudspeakers, to scare them off, blasting everything from the sound of fireworks to AC/DC song Thunderstruck. But what apparently works best is the sound of people yelling.
The human voice was the strongest response out of all the other sounds that we were playing, whether it was a sound, the gunshots, what have you.
After being deployed in Oregon and California, cattle deaths from wolf attacks have dropped significantly.
Okay, so people screaming something like this. Let's see, where are you listening?
There was no turning back. My mind raced, and I thought, what could I do? And I knew there was no...
Nate's not even reacting. That's surprising.
I know, it's weird.
Yeah.
Well, this is a phony report because I remember this story came out probably 10 years ago, except it was done with cats and not wolves.
What? Oh, so they kept it.
They said Thunderstruck was the song that scared cats the most out of all the things they tried to scare them with. Thunderstruck was the one that did it.
Okay.
So I'm just shaking my head going, this is not even a true story.
Wow. You're saying the people at FTV,
yeah,
are making it up?
Making it up.
But the Department of Agriculture
says the USDA did Thunderstruck. Just making this whole thing up out of whole cloth.
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's true. Maybe
blame the screamers.
Wolves and cats.
How about that? You okay with that?
Listen, I'm not a wolf or a cat, but that definitely would scare me more than Thunderstruck.
Oh, now he believes.
Oh, because you're such an AC/DC fan. That's the thing. Okay, how about this?
Let me take
There we go. Now you're talking.
Yes.
Little Yoko Ono.
Yeah.
Okay. Dear Casey, has a woman ever destroyed a perfectly good rock and roll band? And the answer is yes. And her name is Yoko. Here's Nate.
This report brought to you by Wilcox Family Farm Eggs. Shoreline, South 5, approaching 145th, that right lane block from a collision. You're backed up now, bumper to 185th. But again, once you get through this, you're clear all the way to Lake City Way. Linwood to Seattle, right around 45 minutes now. Westbound 520 at I-5, a crash still partially blocks the right lane of the on-ramp to North 5. Drivers are slowing down at the scene, and you're backed up to mid-span. So Bellevue to Seattle right now, right around 25 minutes on both 520 and I-90. Westbound 90, you aren't packed, but it is slow from the East Channel Bridge over to I-5. Bellevue to Renton, 35 minutes. You are packed at 520 to the VMAC. Renton to Puyallup on the Valley Freeway, right around 50 minutes. Tacoma to Olympia, also up to 50 minutes. And again, out in North Bend, westbound 90, two right lanes are blocked at 436, and you're in about a 2-mile bumper-to-bumper backup. Fresh food comes from local farms. For healthier eggs with 3 times the omega-3s, choose Wilcox omega-3 eggs at Costco. Locally fresh since 1909. KIRO Newsradio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Hey, can you blow up some balloons for Jack's party?
I can't. I'm so congested.
You need Sinex Severe from Vicks.
Sinex Severe nasal spray.
Yeah, just Sinex. Breathe.
Sinex Severe instantly relieves nasal congestion and works 6 times faster than nasal decongestant tablets. The 12 hours of relief allow you to get back to the moments that matter without congestion.
Daddy, we need more balloons.
On it.
Try Sinex Severe from Vicks. Just Sinex. Breathe. Use as directed.
Oh, how's that flu, babe? Did you take DayQuil Intense Flu yet?
Nah, I got this. Ugh, okay, I don't got this.
You stay on the couch, and I'll grab the DayQuil.
Undo your flu symptoms with DayQuil Intense Flu. DayQuil Intense Flu provides powerful relief of your flu symptoms.
I'm ready for that to-do list.
Wow, you do got this.
DayQuil Intense Flu. The daytime coughing, aching, fever, under your flu, medicine. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. 1 discount per household.
Join in on the conversation by sending a text to 888-973-5476. That's 888-973-KIRO.
Change is always happening. It's part of life. And when it comes to music, change is all around us. Songs are rewritten. Classics are remixed. Bands and artists come and go.
Even our taste in music changes. Here at Xfinity, we know there's still good in keeping some things the same. That's why we want to do our part with a 5-year price guarantee on our internet. It means no matter what changes, you get 5 years of the most reliable Wi-Fi with our best equipment included for a price that stays exactly the same. Surprised? Life is full of them. One internet price, 5 years, guaranteed. Learn more at xfinity.com/deals. Restrictions apply. New residential customers only. Taxes and fees extra and subject to change. Most reliable Wi-Fi based on Open Signal Awards USA. Fixed Broadband Experience Report, August 2024.
You hear that? That's the sound of your business losing money. Legacy phone systems weren't built for today's teams. OpenPhone gives your business a smarter way to stay connected. OpenPhone lets you manage calls, texts, voicemail, and contacts all in one place so that you and your team can deliver a seamless customer experience from ring to... Need to take calls on the go? OpenPhone automatically transcribes, summarizes, and highlights next steps from every call, so you never miss a detail. Need insight into what closes a sale? With OpenPhone's AI call tags, you can instantly spot key topics like objections or pricing questions, and use those insights to coach your team and level up every customer interaction. And yes, you can bring your existing number with you for free. Keep your team in sync and your customers happy with OpenPhone. OpenPhone. No missed calls, no missed customers. Try OpenPhone for free at openphone.com/free and get 20% off your first 6 months. That's openphone.com/free. openphone.com/FREE.
Hey, it's Jason Rance. Our local tax expert Greg Nunn wants taxpayers to know the IRS is now going after older cases very aggressively. If you received Form CP-504 from the IRS, do not ignore it. Be proactive and resolve your situation with Greg Nunn, N-U-N-N, None Better Tax Resolution.
Your best source for local news. KIRO News Radio, KIRO FM and HD1, Tacoma, Seattle, Northwest News.
This is CBS News on the Hour, sponsored by O'Reilly Auto Parts.
I'm Jennifer Kuiper. A CBS News poll looks at how Americans describe the current economy. Anthony Salvanto is Executive Director of Elections and Surveys.
Ask people, okay, here's a list of a lot of words you could use for the economy. The top answer was uncertain, as well as struggling, and some even said it was unfair. So what you make of this is that people are, not just evaluating it poorly, but also how they're doing it. And that is kind of same old, same old. It's about prices.
On the outlook overall, a majority continue to say the economy is getting worse as opposed to better. Around a quarter continue to think there will be a recession. Gaining traction in the U.S. House is Kentucky Republican Congressman Thomas Massey's bill to force the Justice Department and other agencies involved in the Jeffrey Epstein or Ghislaine Maxwell investigations to release all unclassified materials within 30 days. Abuse survivor Annie Farmer tells CBS News.
I do believe there are people in positions of power that were very much implicated that have never been held accountable, and that the pressure could come from the public if they know what is in that information, that something might be done.
The final of 5 people charged in the death of actor Matthew Perry has pleaded guilty. Prosecutors say Josephine Sango was known as the ketamine queen. Mark Garagos is her attorney.
Look, she feels horrible about all of this. I mean, nobody wants to be in the chain of causation, for lack of a better term.
Sentencing is set for December. Vice President J.D. Vance visits Minneapolis to meet with families affected by last week's deadly Catholic school shooting. CBS's Linda Kenyon.
The attack at the Annunciation Catholic Church killed 2 school children and injured 21 people. One of the injured was 10-year-old Weston Halsney, who had surgery to remove a bullet fragment from his neck and could not have an in-person visit. Vice President Vance spoke to him by phone.
I said you can tell the Vice President from the Vice President of the United States that your older brother has to be nice to you for at least the next week.
The Vice President also met with families.
A former correctional officer, a former inmate at a South Carolina prison, and the ex-inmate's brother have been charged with running a widespread operation to smuggle drugs into more than a dozen state prisons. CBS's Matt Piper reports.
Police say the trio used packages presented as containing books to smuggle hundreds of strips containing synthetic cannabinoids and Suboxone into 14 prisons in South Carolina. The packages were dropped off at the Woodruff Post Office and mailed to the various prisons between March and June. At least 20 inmates received the packages, with some giving statements about their involvement in this smuggling effort.
This is CBS News.
Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get the parts and service you need fast from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
Coming up, no more federal watchdog at the Seattle Police Department. That's after Nate Connors at the Real-Time Traffic Desk.
Thanks, Aaron. This report brought to you by Home Comfort Alliance and Shoreline. We just cleared that crash, South 5, just before 145th. It's still there on the right shoulder. You're backed up bumper to bumper starting at State Route 104. Again, once you get through this backup, you're clear all the way to the U District now. Linwood to Seattle still right around 40 minutes. Westbound 520 at I-5, a crash still partially blocks the right lane of the on-ramp to northbound I-5. You're going to start slowing in mid-span. Bellevue to Seattle, 25 minutes on both 520 and I-90. Bellevue to Everett, Seattle to Everett are both still at 55 minutes. North 5, you're slow from Lake City Way through Linwood. You're really packed through Shoreline. North 405, solid between Kirkland and Bothell, and really thick through Kirkland. Bellevue to Renton, 35 minutes. It's heavy from 520 to the VMAC. Seattle to Federal Way, also 35 minutes. You're slow from Inner Urban Avenue to South 260th, heading into Federal Way. And Tacoma to Olympia, right around 45 minutes. Save 50 to 75% by combining tax credits, rebates, and incentives on a new heat pump from Home Comfort Alliance. Visit homecomfortalliance.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and mynorthwest.com.
Good evening. I'm Aaron Granillo. A judge today ended federal oversight of the Seattle Police Department after 13 years. KIRO News Radio's James Lynch has more.
SPD came under U.S. Justice Department supervision after a lawsuit over biased policing and excessive use of force. Seattle police say they've now expanded training in de-escalation and cultural competency, increased transparency, and community engagement. And Mayor Bruce Harrell says Chief Sean Barnes is the right person to lead the department into a new era.
Chief Barnes has been out there in the field, and he talked about having over 300 community meetings, making sure that our culture reflects that which the community wants.
In Seattle, James Lynch, KIRO News Radio.
The owner of Dinsmore Auto Group says repeated thefts at his Federal Way dealership are forcing some tough decisions. Ken Dismore says 18 catalytic converters were stolen in one night.
We did an inventory, basically getting on the ground, looking underneath all of our commercial vehicles, and we found 9 vehicles had been hit this particular time.
Tell Seattle Reds Jason Rance that is a $100,000 loss. Dinsmore says they're now considering installing those converters only after the purchase of a car. Seattle police say they recovered narcotics at an auto body shop in the Chinatown International District this morning. Captain Mike Strand says the bus follows a 2-month undercover operation at the business at 8th and Jackson.
As far as the business goes, we're going to work with our partners in the city attorney's office with the new nuisance abatement laws and see if we can close down this building entirely and the business itself.
They arrested 2 people today. They say other workers may also have been involved. The candidates for Seattle mayor are set to face off next month. The incumbent, Bruce Harrell, and challenger Katie Wilson agreed to an hour-long debate on October 3rd. It'll be hosted by King 5 and the Seattle Times. Harrell seeking another term in office. Wilson led Harrell by 9 percentage points in the primary election last month. Weather now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Some hazy sunshine yet again today. We'll see some air quality alerts east of the Cascades throughout the end of the week. Right now looking at 81 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news, serving Western Washington and the world with a KIRO News Radio app. Always streaming live on your smart speakers. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
Hey, oh, get up, get up.
Well, that's going to make you feel like eating an egg.
51 for Cal Raleigh. That just happened.
Wow. Right there in front of all of us. How about that?
All right.
Whoa.
Right back in it.
All right.
2-1.
That was yesterday. There is no joy in Mudville. If the camera can see the guy to the right of me, I don't think they would be very happy with the face on Mr. Aaron as he watches the Mariners. Big goose egg. 4 Tampa Rays. Wow. Aaron, your thoughts, questions, comments, concerns? Okay.
I don't know what's happening to this team. They are... Don't want to say they're collapsing, but this is bad. It's a bad performance right now. In the first inning, they saw 3 pitches. 3 pitches, 3 outs.
Yeah.
So they went with the aggressive approach to start the game.
Yes.
That backfired. And then Kirby gave up 4 runs in the first, and here we are in the second with the bases loaded and nobody out. Wow. Oh, man.
This will cheer you up.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs.
This is nice.
They're eating the cats. They're eating the pets of the people that live there. They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats.
Take your mind off it.
They're eating the pets of the people that live there.
People of Springfield, please don't eat my cats.
It does help a little bit.
It does actually help.
People of Springfield, please don't eat my dog. Here's a catalog of other things to eat.
There you go.
They're eating the dogs. Whoa, 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 whoa. They're eating
We have a guest, don't forget.
Okay. Uh-oh. Aaron?
Yeah. No, it's 5-0 now.
Let's go, boys. No, come on, boys. Come on. We
You
got
know
this
what?
little
You
chatter
know
out
what?
there.
If the playoffs were to start today, we'd be in it. Let's go.
Let's change time. All right, diving in. There we go. Bill Kirk, WashingtonGunLaw.com. You're having fun today. You've strayed outside your normal expertise of guns, and you're giving the governor a hard time and some other people about vaccinations. What are you doing, Bill? Stay in your lane.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Oh, get out of here! No.
No. Oh, you talking about that tweet today? That's just a little sidebar.
A little over there. Little comedy.
We're going back into my lane today. We'll stay there.
All right. Well, let's move you back into your lane. All right. So here we go. We got the lawsuit is Seattle sues Glock. They make the guns, most popular manufacturer of guns, over the handguns that can be used and turned into machine guns. So let's give a little bit of here. Como.
City Attorney Ann Davison is taking aim at Glock for what she says is a dangerous design.
Their unique design makes it very easy to, within minutes, very cheaply, change their semi-automatic weapon to a fully automatic weapon.
And that's what criminals do.
The device is called a Glock switch. These are illegal devices that modify the gun to shoot through an entire magazine in seconds. Police have seen a massive spike in the use of switches in the last 3 years.
From criminals.
Maybe years ago it was 3 or 4 shots fired. Now it's 20, 30, 40, 90 shots fired. I'm asking them to match standards by their competitors, which is to make it difficult to convert their weapons into fully automatic weapons.
Where does the problem lie? The problem lies with people installing these on firearms. That's an illegal activity. The problem is not the gun manufacturers. The problem is not the lawful and responsible gun owners. The problem are the people who are committing the criminal acts. If Seattle truly does have an escalating gun violence problem, how much of that was caused by their choice to de-police the community? Because how's that worked out for the city so far?
The city's lawsuit says Glock switches are responsible for more than doubling the number of rounds fired in the city each year.
No, it's weird. So people that want to kill people, known as criminals, right? They add this little device. You could buy it for like $15 on Etsy. You could get it from Japan, China, and stuff like that.
Apparently widely available, yes.
Yeah, widely available. Most legal gun owners, which that is the majority of us, don't bother putting that on because, we're not out to, fire off 60, 70 rounds. It's very expensive. Unless you go around stealing stuff from people, then you don't care how much ammunition costs. So will this thing fly? Will the city be able to win on this one?
Ultimately, no, because there's a significant amount of federal legislation laying over the top of this, known as the Protection of Lawful Commerce and Arms Act, which basically precludes lawsuits against firearms manufacturers when there is a superseding, intervening, third-party criminal activity. And there are multiple layers of that occurring here with the production of an unlawful switch, the importation of the unlawful switch, the installation of the unlawful switch, and then the use thereof. So there's at least 4 steps of illegality And that will preclude the city of Seattle from ultimately prevailing on this lawsuit.
Yeah, so that protection of Lawful Commerce Arms Act 2005, that what that does is what the different states have tried to go in there and say, okay, 10 people died, therefore we're going after you, you're going to have to pay. In Connecticut, they were able to actually win because they worked around it. They said, well, public nuisance. And they got into the marketing part of it as well. And when it came to in Connecticut, they said, you marketed your gun in such a way that it inspired Adam Lanza to think, well, I can be like that. I'll buy that gun. And therefore I can, I can be a military guy, right? So they won on that one. I think it went like $70-some million on that one. Yeah, I think the jury felt.
And that's the theory also, John, that the city of Seattle is using here, because they're actually filing a public nuisance under RCW 7.48.130. So that is their theory. So this is not a new playbook that the city of Seattle is using here. Current suits going on in Chicago, New Jersey, and Philadelphia, quite similar. The pleadings look strikingly similar to those in the other jurisdictions.
Okay. So they will not, because it would be like if somebody modified their car. The manufacturer produces the car, it has 300 horsepower, but you get in there and you jerry-rig the thing in such a way that it now has 600 or 700 horsepower, and the person presses down on the gas, spins out of their lane, crashes into somebody, and unfortunately kills them. So then you would go after Ford?
No, you don't get to go after Ford there, because once again, there's a superseding intervening cause. And that's the whole idea behind the law of foreseeability is when there is superseding, especially illegal activity, we cannot hold the original manufacturer liable. So there are exceptions. If for somehow or another the city of Seattle could claim that the Glock was aiding and abetting in the importation of this and the design and the installation, if their website was like nudge, nudge, wink, wink, here's how you put these things on. But none of those allegations exist in the complaint, which I've read front to back, because of course Glock has never engaged in that activity and has always discouraged the use of it. And candidly, this is just a general problem that we see not only in Seattle, but a lot of blue cities, which is we're just not using the one most important component of the criminal justice system, which is accountability. Why do we not just hold the people accountable who are bringing these items in, who are using these items? And if you go through the city's complaint and they talk about some of the horror stories that you see in the use of these, it's Seattle police arrested a teenager with a converted Glock. On July 24th, a 13-year-old boy and two 14-year-old boys were arrested with a converted Glock and a 30-round magazine. The complaint, a 20-year-old in Linwood, a 16-year-old high school student from Silas in Tacoma. None of these people are even lawfully possessing the firearm at the time that this activity. So in the possession alone, we have illegality. That is against the law. The possession of a Glock switch is unlawful under both federal and state law. Installing it on a firearm in the state of Washington makes that an unlawful machine gun, which is also a felony. And then obviously these are always used in some kind of horrific act of violence, which there are multiple felonies that can be charged there. That is the solution. The problem is actually put accountability on the people that are wreaking this havoc and get them off the streets.
There was a House bill, 5631. I forget. I don't know where. I don't think it made it in time. But basically, I think the way the law stands now is a juvenile must be convicted of 5 times using a gun illegally. Which, how's a juvenile have the gun to begin? You get 5. Right. You get 5 times, 5 convictions before they're then sent, to restorative justice. And I think even Democrats are like, really 5? How about 3? Because it was Inslee, I think the year he said, we shouldn't, if a 17-year-old kills somebody and kills multiple people with a handgun, let's not immediately try them as an adult. Let's continue to coddle them a little bit. And they basically put that wall up that stops somebody from being held accountable because it's a kid and we can't, it's not fair to the kid or whatever. So they don't really want to enforce a law to go ahead and get these people. And unfortunately, so often they are minors because the older people know, hey, give it to the kid, let the kids shoot with a gun because don't worry about it. They're not going to do anything. You have to sit in some kumbaya circle and hand around a eagle feather or something. So we'll let you do the damage. You go in there and you wipe out all those people. You fire 60 or 70 rounds because they're not going to do anything to you. So there is that little...
The juvenile justice system is clearly broken in this state. It's not unique to this state. There are other states that have gone the wrong direction. I mean, I understand the difference between the adult juvenile system and the adult system and the juvenile system, and I understand that. But sometimes it's gone awry. It's gone awry here in Washington State and other states. Again, once we start removing accountability for actions from the criminal justice system, the criminal justice system ceases to not only really exist, but function.
So what will this end up costing the taxpayers of Seattle in order to have this suit filed and then eventually lose in court? What do you think?
Well, I guess that depends on how much Keller Rohrbach, the private law firm that's helping with this, is whether they're doing this pro bono or if they're charging for their hours. Okay, there's a private law firm that's jumped in. So this is not just Ann Davidson's office. She's employed a private law firm to help with the pleadings here. So, you take it up. You got a hearing before King County Superior Court. Whichever side loses is going to be appealing to Division I Court of Appeals. It could end up all the way at the Washington State Supreme Court. This could go on for years and cost millions of dollars.
And Ann Davidson is running again to be reelected. She is running against a woman that is coming in from the left, hard left, who would like to see more police accountability, i.e. Restrict more police action and generally just be softer on crime. So in a way, Ann, I think, has to go, listen, I'll make headlines on this thing. I'll go ahead and sue Glock, and that'll give me some sort of cover. Because she was probably, if they ever debated or she was ever asked about it, what are you doing about this? She can say, well, I'm going after the Glock.
Right. The timing is amazingly convenient, especially for Ms. Davidson, who I believe finished on the silver medal platform in the primary. So, yeah, timing is convenient. I'm sure Mayor Harrell will be behind the lawsuit, too, vociferously.
And how long will it take until finally the court goes, no, there's nothing here?
It depends on how far it goes. We'll probably have a hearing in the next couple of months in King County Superior Court, but by the time we're done with Division I Court of Appeals trying to get to the Washington State Supreme Court, we're 18 to 24 months into it. But here's what can happen, John, is you could have a court issue an injunction and stop because you got to remember, there's 3 gun stores inside the city of Seattle: Bullseye Indoor Range, Pantel Tactical, and Rainier Arms LLC, authorized dealers that are named in this as well. And so there could be an injunction that would preclude them from selling Glock handgun products while this suit is kicking around. So think about what that could do to them. And this is one of the many weapons that they use in the civilian disarmament regimes, is we will try to make it as inconvenient, whether it's chronologically, financially, or legally. They're going to come at this from every angle. And this is another pet project designed to drive gun stores out of business.
They did a pretty good job when they passed the law when it came to taxes on the guns and then also taxes on the ammo. Seattle was able to run, I don't know, I forget the number, how many of...
Pretty much all of them. Yeah. It's bad business to have a gun store inside city limits. It's just bad business. Who would do that?
Right. So they left and they went somewhere else. People still continue.
Or some of them just closed. And what we see now with the new restrictions on the FFLs, with the video and audio recording requirements, the fact that they've removed inventory off their shelves, we're seeing a lot of these small independent operations that have been serving rural communities in Washington State for decades. They're all closing shop. And eventually we're going to have what I like to call Second Amendment deserts in this state, where you literally got to go 75 miles each way to see a gunsmith or go buy ammunition or firearm.
Right, because they want to take the guns away from everybody, and then the only people that end up having guns. I'm going to give you 1 minute. It's not fair, but I was reading John R. Lott Jr.'s book and study that he came out with a long time ago. He said,
I had dinner with John Lott literally 2 weeks ago in Tennessee.
Okay, so he came up with this, and he said, go ahead, show me where I'm wrong. More guns, less crime.
Yeah. An armed society is a polite society. Dr. John Lott, who is a very, very brilliant man, actually just uses objective facts and stats, oftentimes the ATF, Department of Justice's own statistics, to prove that, candidly, these gun laws do not save lives at all. They probably make our communities more dangerous. Gun-free zones, for example, in the last 15 years, 93% of all mass shootings occur inside a gun-free zone because it's the lack of armed resistance. So that's just one example, and he can statistically prove it and has time and time and time again. People should really, really read what Dr. Lott has to say.
And as we have you on the phone, Bill, I ran out of time. But I will continue to follow you on Twitter or X, because aren't you the funny man there when it comes to vaccinations? Oh, you think it's so funny. All right. Bill Kirk, thank you again. Always WashingtonGunLaw.com.
Always a pleasure.
There you go. Bye-bye. Let's go over to NATO there. Nathan, checking traffic.
All right, Linwood to Seattle has improved. We're at 35 minutes, but there are scattered backups between Linwood and Shoreline. And then again from coming out of Northgate into downtown. Westbound 520 at I-5, this collision still partially blocking that right lane at the on-ramp to North 5. And right now you're backed up across the lake. So Bellevue to Seattle is inched up a bit to a half-hour drive. It's that on both 520 and I-90. Bellevue to Everett, 55 minutes. Northbound 405 still slows from Kirkland into Canyon Park now, and you're still pretty thick through Kirkland. Seattle to Everett, however, has improved to 45 minutes. Still slow from Lake City Way all the way through Linwood. Bellevue to Renton, 35 minutes. It's bumper to bumper from 520 to the VMAC. Renton to Puyallup, you're down to a 40-minute drive. Still packed south of Highway 18 into Puyallup. Both directions of I-5 between Fife and Federal Way to Highway 18 are packed. And we're seeing heavy volumes heading to the White River Amphitheater, where the Offspring are headliners tonight. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
All right, as you prepare for your golden years, you want a little bit of gold, so you got a little nest egg there. You got a 401k, you're in the market, maybe you got Bitcoin or something like that, because you have to have some money ready to go when you retire and you stop generating income. Good for you. That's very, very smart. Now, I'm going to ask you to make another investment, but it's a very, very small investment. It's only about probably 6 hours a year. You're saying, all right, Curly, what do I get for my 6 hours? How about more years of life? Yeah. Longevity Medical Clinic. For 25 years, the doctors there have been following the latest new science that shows that things can be done now, because as you're aging, they can look for early indicators of the big three that take us out of the game, like heart disease and diabetes and cancer. They can see early indicators, and then they can stop them, reverse them, stop them, and give you longer, more life. In fact, not just life where you're just kind of clunking along, but actually vitality. You'll feel better as you have more years if you're working with Longevity Medical Clinic like I have since 2009. You can take the free health analysis at longevitymedicalclinic.com.
Man wide open, touchdown Seahawks!
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones, left tackle. The anchor to the left side of the offensive line for the Seahawks that went to the Super Bowl. One of the best players in franchise history.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/deal to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/deal for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
Eric Johnson here. I spent the past 30 years working to help make our community better informed, better protected when it comes to consumer issues, and better equipped to take on whatever life throws at us. That's why I love the free Washington Accident book series from Davis Law Group. These books keep us better informed about the law, better able to protect ourselves on and off the road, and better off when all is said and done after an accident. Chris Davis didn't have to write these books. He did it because he saw a need. People who were in accidents or other legal situations didn't know what to do, what pictures to take, documents to request. Only a tiny fraction of the people who get these free books will ever become clients of Davis Law Group, but that's not the point. Chris wrote them because it was the right thing to do. The free Washington Accident book series is a must-have for drivers who want to be prepared for whatever the road might throw at them. Get yours at WashingtonAccidentBooks.com.
Let's talk about your hair. Well, maybe after we talk about my hair. I've got great hair, as you know, and it's because of Advanced Hair. Yep, Advanced Hair Restoration. Their simple one-day treatment offers life-changing results that I can attest to. Guys, it's not magic, but it's close to it. They put hair where you need it most, and bam, it grows. It's actual science. Advanced Hair has top-rated physicians, modern technology, and best of all, you get your very own natural hair that begins to regrow the very next day. It's even guaranteed to grow for life. So schedule your free consultation now at 425-449-8185. Mention Curly to qualify for $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. It's a limited time offer. Advanced Hair, the winner of the 425 Business of the Year, and the team that gave me my hair back. More importantly, they'll do the same for you. Guaranteed. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
If you have unfiled taxes or are in debt to the IRS, this is important news. Did you know the IRS has programs specifically designed to help people struggling with tax debt? Powerful tax assistance programs that can save you thousands if you qualify. No one knows these programs better than the experts at Optima Tax Relief, America's most trusted tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their award-winning tax attorneys and licensed professionals have resolved over $1 billion of tax debt for their clients. One call to Optima can start the process, helping to put an end to your worries about wage garnishment, asset seizure, and other aggressive IRS actions. Find the best options to solve your tax problems. Call the experts at Optima Tax Relief today for a free consultation.
Call 800-972-0588. 800-972-0588. 800-972-0588.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
KIRO News Radio 97.3 FM Northwest News. Now, the latest from KIRO News Radio and MyNorthwest.com.
Good evening. I'm Aaron Granillo. The governors of Washington, Oregon, and California say their states are now coming up with their own vaccine guidance and recommendations. KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey has more.
After the CDC recently dismissed several doctors and scientists from its working groups ahead of reviewing multiple vaccines, State Health Secretary Dennis Worsham says that move raised flags.
It's been concerning to watch what has been happening over a period of time, starting to remove data, starting to remove some of the science-based process.
The West Coast Health Alliance was immediately formed. Worsham says it will look to other organizations like the American Academy of Pediatrics to form future guidance if CDC guidance appears to be rooted in politics, not science. Luke Ducey, KIRO News Radio.
Chelan County investigators say they have an update on those bones recovered during last week's search effort for Travis Decker. Here's KIRO News Radio's Frank Lindsay.
The bones recovered near the Leavenworth campsite where Decker allegedly killed his 3 young daughters more than 3 months ago are not human, according to the FBI. Crews searched a 250-acre area over 2 days and found those bones, but no sign of Decker. Chelan County Sheriff Mike Morrison spoke with reporters last week.
We will not relent. We will not give up until this investigation is concluded.
U.S. Marshal Service is offering a reward of up to $20,000 for information leading directly to Travis Decker's arrest. Frank Lindsay, KIRO News Radio.
Thurston County Commissioner wants to keep federal immigration agents out of wildfire zones. Wayne Fournier introduced the local ordinance after last week's arrest of 2 crew members on the Bear Gulch fire.
I've been in the fire service for almost 30 years, and this is not business as usual.
Border Patrol says those firefighters were in the country illegally. Fournier's proposal would limit federal enforcement in active emergency zones like wildfires. Oracle is cutting jobs again, more than 100 this time in Seattle. Cloud computing company says 101 workers will be laid off starting November 3rd. Oracle already announced 161 layoffs just last month. Let's check the real-time traffic desk now at 5:32. Here's Nate Connors.
All right, Linwood to Seattle down to a half hour. Still got some slowing between Linwood and Shoreline and again between Northgate and downtown, but we're close to freeway speeds, especially up in the north end. We just cleared that long-term collision westbound 520 at the on-ramp to North 5, so this will help alleviate the solid backup that starts closer to 84th now. Bellevue to Seattle still around a half hour on both 520 and I-90. Bellevue to Everett, 45 minutes. 405 still slows between Kirkland Franklin and Canyon Park. Seattle to Everett at 45 minutes. You're slow from Lake City Way through Linwood. Bellevue to Renton's down to a half hour. Still packed through Bellevue starting at 5:20. Once you hit about Factoria, you'll start to thin out. Heading out toward Auburn, eastbound on 18, you're packed from I-5 all the way over to C Street. And then from there, Auburn way south is packed from Highway 18 to the casino as folks head out to see Offspring at the White River Amphitheater. And in North Bend, westbound 90 at 436th, the on-ramp remains blocked, but we just reopened those two right lanes. The earlier backup has cleared. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
And your forecast now brought to you by State Roofing and Exteriors. Some smoke and haze west of the Cascades. Air quality alerts east of the Cascades due to numerous wildfires. Temperatures the next few days staying in the upper 70s and low 80s. Right now, 80 degrees in downtown Seattle. I'm Aaron Granillo, KIRO News Radio.
Your best source for local news. You're listening to KIRO News Radio, Northwest News.
All right, we only have Aaron for a brief period of time, so Teeny, spin the wheel and stop it quickly. Stop it. Okay. Wilcox Flame Farm Eggs recipe is mine. Get yourself a hard-boiled egg, put some salt on it, and then give it to Joe. That's your Wilcox Flame Farm Eggs recipe.
Yum!
There you go. Thank you. All right, Aaron. My friend Roger Jobs just texted in. He said, what do you say here? He said, how do the Mariners' performance surprise anyone who's lived in Seattle for the past 30 years?
Well, that's a good question.
Yeah.
I feel
By
like
the way, score right now is
8-0.
Okay.
I shouldn't be surprised, right?
No.
I shouldn't, because I've been a fan my whole life.
Mm-hmm.
This is a different iteration of losing, though.
Ooh.
In years past, as of late at least, it's been the front office not doing what it was supposed to do, either not spending money or not making moves at the deadline or whatever. This is the talented roster. This is probably the most talented roster we've seen since 2001, realistically. And they're just underperforming, on the road at least, in the last 6 road series. So I am surprised. That they are playing this poorly down the stretch.
And I guess the frustration comes in that prior in other years, you could point to, as you mentioned,
the front office,
the front office
executives.
problems. It's like you guys don't spend the money, right?
Yeah.
But in this case, it's just one of these weird kind of curses as we head into September.
It's the players not executing. Simple as that. The players, the talent on paper, they're a top 5 lineup on paper. They're playing like a bottom 5 offense right now. So I'm not sure what to make of it. And the pitching is not performing on the road. And man, wow! The baseball season, the ups and downs. It's part of the reason I love it. And man, does it frustrate me in times like these too. You got to stick with it.
There's no one else in the building. I don't know about the sports guys that not watches the game, but you're in every pitch, Aaron. You are in every time when you're here, when you're getting your news together, but you come in, you change the station, you get it on there, and then you go out there, and then I watch you put your hands on top of your head and cover your eyes as they're now, luckily we've gone to a commercial break so the Rays are not able to score. But all we can hope for is they exhaust themselves from running around the bases.
Mm-hmm.
That's one defense. Yeah. Just let them score a whole bunch of points.
Yeah.
And then they'll be tired.
Yeah. It's one strategy, I guess.
Would you recommend they do what Mark Grace talked about? Probably the most underrated a ball player from the 1980s, 90s, 1990s. He had
I remember
more
Mark
hits,
Grace.
right? Mark Grace, right?
Yeah.
And you know how he got out of slumps?
How did he do that?
Well, it's fairly controversial, but he would suggest dating a gal who's probably has a great personality, makes her own clothes,
Mm-hmm.
and never says no to a third helping of fries.
Okay.
And Mark Grace says you date a girl like that, and then you can break the slump. And then he said you got to kind of take one for the team, and then the slump ends, and then the team starts winning again.
What's the logic there?
I don't think there is any logic.
Oh, no,
it was just sort of a thing.
Okay.
It's like a superstition.
The superstition.
Which is very common in baseball.
Sure. They would be known as slump busters.
Okay. Well,
okay.
See if they can find any in Atlanta, because that's where they're headed next.
Okay. Now, the only good news, and there is good news somewhere in here, that luckily other teams are losing.
Right. Yeah, the teams behind them, the Rangers already lost today. Astros they're not playing any better. They're in front of them. So I don't know, man. I mean, it can flip on a dime. It really can. Just as poorly as they're playing right now, they can go to Atlanta and sweep, and we'll feel great. But right now, it's not looking.
Has Atlanta won a game yet in 2025?
They have. They started very slowly.
Yes.
They're a middling team, but so are the Rays, and they're not playing.
Okay.
They're playing down in the competition.
Has anybody hit the roof today?
Mm-mm. There is no roof there in Tampa.
Where's the place to have the roof? And they said they would never ever hit it, and then they end up hitting it.
You may have been thinking of the Trop.
The Trop,
Canada.
yeah.
The roof hurricane blew the roof
that one
off
off,
of
right?
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
So they're playing at a minor league stadium now.
I got it. Okay. Yeah. Well, here we go. You know what? Get a chance here, right?
No.
Come on, watch this.
This game is.
Come on now. Here we go. There's a pitch outside ball one.
8-0 lead in the fourth.
We can rally?
Man, that's a tough one.
Think about Phillies Mets about 4 years ago. Come on, they can come back on
You're
this
right.
one. Here we go.
It's
Here we
not
go.
over till it's
Here,
over.
Aaron,
I'll
here
give
you go.
that,
Watch
but-
it. There's your pitch. Oh, wow. Gets a piece of it. And going long. Playoffs.
No.
This is a disaster.
I know, Teeny, it is. All right. Thank you, Aaron. You can.
It's a lopsided box score. 12 hits, 8 runs versus 1 hit and no runs.
Oh, honey.
Okay. All right.
Still holding on to hope, though.
Let's say.
Look at his blank stare at the car commercial. It's just hoping.
Let's say the time ticks away. And the Mariners go back, hang up the cleats and the uniforms for 2025, and off they go.
Mm-hmm.
Various parts of the United States, wherever they spend their winter.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you, Aaron.
I'll still be here.
Your 2 children, you got that going for you. You got a beautiful wife.
The Seahawks will be on by then.
Sure. But still, there'll be a hole.
Yeah, there will be.
A tiny little festering wound.
You know what? I mean, the season's not over.
Okay.
They could still make a run. Okay? All right? Anyways, my wife is texting me. I gotta go.
Okay, there he goes.
There you go. Go eat oysters.
Okay.
Oh, my.
And now you know the rest of the story.
Okay.
Lead in the pencil.
All right, we had to. We were going to play something about the Slump Busters, but it's just too 1990s.
I'm proud of you in this moment.
For holding back on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
It's a bad idea.
Try to put it as nicely as possible.
Yeah.
And also, I thought it'd be great because Aaron is kind of, straight laced. Play off that, but then it's not worth it.
Yeah, Aaron is he gets after it. He's got a wild side.
Okay, fine. Good. All right, so that spares us talking about Sound Transit. Boy, they went, another 30 billion or something like that. We'll talk about all that sort of stuff tomorrow.
Oh, yes, we will.
Plus, what's the other stuff we put off to the side that we wanted to get to?
We had all kinds of Trump Epstein news today.
Oh, there you go.
Lots of sound from that. There was the meeting between Kim Jong-un, Putin, and President Xi.
And a hot mic catches Xi talking about organ transplants so that you can live to be 150 years old.
Yes, he's thinking he might be able to take advantage of that.
But Xi would be around for 150.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go. Well, that's tomorrow on the show. In the meantime, Nate's got to look at traffic for us. And, Aaron's crying out there. It's on the ground. Okay, well, then we go out there and give him a hug or give him a kick in the ribs. Here's Nate taking a look at traffic. Nathan?
Alrighty, Lake Washington Windows and Doors has our update crossing the lake from Bellevue to Seattle, a half hour on both I-90 and 520. You're both dealing with some pretty hefty backups still. Bellevue to Everett, 45 minutes. Seattle to Everett, also 45 minutes. 405 starting to improve, but still slow between Kirkland and Bothell. I-5 are still slow from Lake City Way through North Linwood. Bellevue to Renton, 35 minutes. It's packed from 520 through Factoria, and then you'll start to thin out. Seattle to Federal Way is taking a half hour. Still pretty solid from Interurban Avenue down to State Route 516. Southbound 167 looking good in the north end, but it's still jam-packed Highway 18 into Puyallup. Bainbridge Island, northbound 305 has a 3-mile bumper-to-bumper backup as you make your way to the Agate Pass Bridge. Lake Washington Windows Autumn Savings Event is on now. Save $500 per window, $1,000 per door, plus 12 months, same as cash financing. Details at lakewashingtonwindows.com. KIRO News Radio, real-time traffic. I'm Nate Connors.
Hey, homeowners, I've got some great news for you. I want you to think about all those savings because Home Comfort Alliance has done some work for you. There are rebates that are expiring. So right now, you can snag $2,000 of federal tax credit on new heat pumps if they're installed by December 31st. I'm watching Nate on the screen for some reason. There are... Home Comfort also has 25% off. Okay, stop. I don't do that to you while you're doing whatever it is you're doing. 25% off heat pumps as well when they're in stock. So that's a $2,000 savings. We're adding it all up. And then there's utility rebates as well that Home Comfort Alliance has found for you. $2,000 back in your pocket. That's up to 75% off when it comes to heating and cooling that house of yours. These are big, big deals. And Home Comfort Alliance is committed to outstanding service and great communication and solid follow-up, as I can tell you. When they came to the barn, they did great work with the heat pump there. So you can save up to 75%. You've got the tax credits, the rebates, the deep discounts, and it all adds up. But act fast. Take advantage of them while they're still there. HomeComfortAlliance.com. Heating, cooling, plumbing, and electrical needs. It's HomeComfortAlliance.com.
The Northwest's trusted news source, KIRO News Radio.
Police in Federal Way are investigating what appears to be a car explosion.
KIRO News Radio's Luke Ducey is live from the neighborhood.
I can't tell you enough how crazy this scene is here.
Coverage you depend on.
A massive police presence in Kent.
From voices you know and trust.
We have an active fire inside one of these buildings here.
KIRO News Radio on 97.3 FM, the app, YouTube, and your smart speaker.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
From the roof to the deck, the siding to the gutters, and energy-efficient windows, State Roofing and Exteriors is your one-stop shop for home protection. With over 55 years serving Western Washington, we don't just work here, we live here. We know what your home is up against when the cold sets in and the rain starts falling. Right now, we're making it easier than ever to get started with 0 down, 0 payments, and 0 interest for 24 months. Call 866-ROOF-ROOF or visit stateroofing.com to schedule your free, no-pressure estimate.
State Roofing, the last roof you'll ever need.
The team that gave me back my full head of hair, Advanced Hair, is once again the winner of the 425 Business of the Year. Dr. Perungo and his world-class team begin regrowing your own natural hair the very next day. And Advanced Hair guarantees your new hair will grow, just like they did for me. Find out why Advanced Hair is the best of the best. With your free consultation, you'll receive $250 off and 250 free hair grafts. 425-449-8185 or advancedhair.com.
If you've got a gas-powered engine, keep it running like new at every fill-up.
Stable in-season protection is your engine's preventative medicine, cleaning and protecting the entire fuel system in season. In outdoor power equipment, prevent gum and varnish buildup that could cause a rough or non-running engine. For cars and trucks, increase fuel efficiency and power by removing deposits, ensuring your engine's long-term health. Stable outperforms the competition in independent lab testing. So at every fill-up, start with Stable.
Why choose a Sleep Number smart bed?
Can I make my site softer?
Can I make my site firmer?
Can we sleep cooler?
Sleep Number does that. Cools up to 8 times faster and lets you choose your ideal comfort on either side. Your Sleep Number setting. It's the final days of Sleep Number's biggest sale of the year. All beds on sale. Up to 50% off the limited edition smart bed. Ends Monday. All Sleep Number smart beds offer temperature solutions for your best sleep. Check it out at a Sleep Number store or sleepnumber.com today.
By texting 64,000, you agree to receive recurring automated marketing messages from Real Success. Message and data rates may apply. No purchase required. Terms apply. Available at ourrealsuccess.com.
Do you want to learn how to make money flipping houses and acquiring rental properties right here in Seattle without using your own money? You'll learn to flip houses and secure rental properties in your spare time to get on track towards real wealth building. We're offering a handful of motivated individuals the opportunity to attend our workshop right here in Seattle for free. That's right, we'll give you 2 free tickets when you text FREE to 64,000. Seattle is the perfect market to flip houses and build rental income. Don't miss this opportunity. Come to a complimentary live 2-hour workshop this week right here in Seattle and learn how to start making money flipping homes and building long-term wealth with rental properties. To get 2 free tickets, text FREE to 64,000. Text in the next 10 minutes, and registrants will also receive a free copy of our Funding for Deals guide. Text FREE to 64,000 for 2 complimentary tickets. Text FREE to 64,000.
Your time is money. So why are you wasting it stuck in I-5 gridlock, TSA slowdowns, and SeaTac crowds? Isn't it time to travel smarter? Seaport Airlines offers high-frequency commuter shuttle service from Seattle's Boeing Field to Portland. Park for free next to our terminals. Check in 20 minutes before your departure. Get there faster without the hassles. Seaport Airlines. It's about time. Book today at flyseaportair.com.
With over 20 new home communities throughout the Puget Sound area, D.R. Horton has the right home for you. Learn more at drhorton.com. That's drhorton.com. D.R. Horton, America's builder, an equal housing opportunity builder.
The John Curley Show mailbag is brought to you by Pendergast Law.
Alrighty, let's go. Hudson, will you sing that song for us? And Joe, help him out with that little part.
As you can see.
Yeah.
I'm a mailman. Don't be mess with me.
Don't mess with
him.
me.
I'm a mailman. Everything no. I'm a mailman. Bring the mail to you.
So close. We'll get the letter of the day first. Take care of all the rest. Here we go.
206 says, what in the world happened to the Cars for Kids ad? It sounded like they got really sad and took an Ambien.
Andrew, you want to explain yourself on that one?
I don't know what was going on there.
Okay.
It did sound different.
Dennis in Seattle is reliable Nate Connors really going to get his own show.
Good old
reliable Nathan.
Steve O says, so where will Trump move once Mar-a-Lago gets wiped out by either rising oceans or a hurricane? New York? Brazil?
Thank you, Steve O. Nick's birthday.
Don't worry about it.
That's right. That's right. Nick's birthday. Jean in Olympia says, does she know your name is John?
Athena. She calls you Michael.
I know.
Yeah.
John Michael.
Sue in the 206 on the guy that was in the TikTok that forgot his wife's birthday. At least the husband called himself out, admitted right off the bat that he forgot her birthday instead of being a lying sack of poo. And who knows? She might have had the night of her life. There's nothing like a good romp to make up good romp of makeup nookie.
I want to have nookie and I don't want to die. Okay.
Nice.
But if you do die right after or in the middle of it, I think that's the best way to go out. Hee Haw Aaron says he messed up by asking Should have just looked away and moved on as if it never happened. That's a good technique.
Yep. Braden in Snohomish, back to Nick. He said, you're celebrating the person's life, not the work done to get there. I could give 2 blanks about birthdays, but my wife's is one of those my birthday week people.
Oh, yeah. I've seen birthday week, birthday month. Katie in Tacoma says, I love this woman. Can it be Nick's birthday every week? I love how she corrects John on mansplaining her pregnancy and birth.
By the way, Nick did not sound very happy with you.
She's in the middle of having dinner.
Okay.
Right.
On Roosevelt, World War II, and This Day in History. Tina on the 425 says, please keep the opening monologue and This Day in History. This show is simply the best.
Simply the best. Benny, the tugboat expert, says Roosevelt hated colonialism.
Rod and Edmund says that's MI6, not M16. Military intelligence.
Oh, shoot, I'm sorry.
FYI, I loved it, though.
No, good. Thank you for correction. Collins in Seattle says, hell yeah, we enjoy it, Curly. Okay, good. So we leave it up to the crowd. Vox Populi.
Savings Bond Agent EE7 says, remember the Maine, Gulf of Tonkin, weapons of mass destruction. It's nothing new under the sun.
Unfortunately. Patty in Seattle says, I absolutely love these stories. Okay, good.
425, believe I read a book called A Man Named Intrepid about the James Bond inspiration.
Yeah, and love history. Rabbits can have more than one hole.
I'm going to skip down to this long one. Mike in Portland says, John, I was surprised by your comment about hating Woodrow Wilson. I agree Wilson was deeply flawed, racist, authoritarian, and arrogant, but Trump is way worse. He managed to be all of those things, plus reckless, lawless, and proudly destructive. How can you hate Wilson but not Trump?
What I was saying, I hate the actions of the people that are in that office. I think Trump is probably the most consequential president we've had in the last 100 years. That doesn't necessarily mean he's good. I'm just saying he's consequential. I think Wilson was motivated by a whole bunch of stuff, and I don't like how either one of them has been usurping or at least ignoring the Constitution.
You are a rude, terrible person.
Okay, well, sue me. Teeny in the Bubble says, Josh in Auburn, I heard Teeny needed some cheering up, and she wanted more letters. So, hello, teeny tiny lady.
Hello. Dinah in Everett says, I love Teeny. Love Teeny.
Okay, all right. Don't get it go to her head. Look at her.
Look at these beautiful trees. Look how tall they are.
Okay, she's on acid.
Now it is time for the letter of the day.
Teeny dropped to something there, a little 100.
She did. I'm gonna do a 2 for Barbara. This just came in from Barbara. Happy birthday, Adventures, Nicole. So satisfied to hear your mom's story because I had a hairy baby girl too. Might have something to do with how short she was with you on speakerphone a few minutes ago.
No. She's fine with all that.
Okay, fine.
All right.
This comes to us from Jesse B.
Oh, good.
Hey, guys. A birthday haiku for Nicole. Happy birthday, Nick. May you feel celebrated today and always.
Wow. Very nice.
By your husband.
You added that.
John Mike.
You added it.
That's all she wrote.
That's it. Here he comes. The man that hopes to get his own show. Look at him in there. Look at him in there. Do some traffic.
KIRO Radio Rundown has our update crossing the lake from Bellevue right around a half hour on both I-90 and 520. Bellevue to Everett, 45 minutes. 405 still slow between Kirkland and Bothell. Seattle to Everett has improved a little bit. We're down to 40 minutes here. Your backup now is from Northgate through Linwood. Bellevue to Renton still at half hour, and it's heavy through Bellevue starting at 520. Once you clear Factoria, you'll start to thin out. Seattle to Federal Ways at a half hour. You're slow from 405 to 516. Down to the county line, both directions of I-5 are packed between Highway 18 and 54th and Fife. Southbound 167 improving, still pretty slow though between Highway 18 into Puyallup. Renton to Puyallup taking you right around a half hour. Text newsletter to 888-973-5476 and subscribe to the daily KIRO News Radio Rundown. Get the latest news and updates from your favorite KIRO News Radio shows straight to your inbox. KIRO News Radio Real-Time Traffic, I'm Nate Connors.
Man wide open, touchdown Seahawks!
Celebrating 50 years of Seahawks football with the voice of the Seahawks, Steve Rabel.
Number 71, Walter Jones, left tackle. The anchor to the left side of the offensive line for the Seahawks that went to the Super Bowl. One of the best players in franchise history.
Since the beginning, KIRO is where Seattle and the Pacific Northwest have heard the Seahawks play. Here's to the next 50 years.
Welcome to this week's Puget Sound Express Whale Report. Last week, we discussed how orcas can recognize coastlines and land features. They also have very accurate internal clocks. According to naturalists at Puget Sound Express, the T60 family of Big's orcas has been hunting in our waters for the past week. August is T60 time. It's basically the only time of year this family visits us, and they return almost to the day each year. At least 10 other Big's orca families are also in the area right now, as are many humpbacks and minke whales. Family-run Puget Sound Express offers daily guaranteed whale watching tours departing from Edmonds. These half-day tours are Seattle's most popular and well-reviewed whale tours. Puget Sound Express also offers tours out of Port Townsend and Port Angeles. Don't miss out on your chance to see whales in the wild. Family-run Puget Sound Express guarantees you'll see whales or your next trip is absolutely free. Book online at PugetSoundExpress.com.
It's a fact. When your eyes work correctly, light focuses through both your cornea and your lens to give you high-quality vision. Hi, it's Dr. Kopstein from K2 Vision. Here's another fact. As we near age 50, we begin to lose the quality and function of our natural lens. That's when we start to reach for reading glasses and contemplate those cataracts on the horizon, typically in our 70s or later, but inevitable if we get old enough. Fortunately, K2 Vision has the advanced permanent solution for both, refractive lens exchange, or RLE. K2 Vision RLE is a quick, painless procedure that restores distance and near vision permanently. Plus, another thing is permanent. You will never develop a cataract. After over 20 years replacing over 100,000 failing lenses, we will help you determine when it's your right time for RLE. Go to k2visionrle.com and schedule a free Zoom consultation today. K2 Vision RLE. No glasses, no contacts, no readers. Permanently.
You're listening to Leaf Filter Radio, and the guru of gutter protection himself, Chris Coonahan, is here to take your most pressing leaf-related questions.
Hey, everybody, Chris here. I understand we have Ron on the line. Ron, where are you calling from?
Uh-oh. Ron, are you calling from a ladder?
Well, I was. I wanted to ask Chris what I need to do to get my gutters ready to have Leaf Filter installed.
Oh, Ron, you don't have to do anything. A Leaf Filter Trusted Pro will come out and clean out your gutters, realign and seal your gutters, and install Leaf Filter, America's #1 gutter protection system.
So I didn't need to get on this ladder?
Ron, Leaf Filter Trusted Pros are in your neighborhood and ready to help. Just visit leaffilter.com/radio to schedule your free gutter inspection and get up to 30% off.
Thank goodness. What was that site?
That's leaffilter.com/radio for your free gutter inspection today. See representative for warranty details. Promotion is 20% off plus a 10% senior or military discount. One discount per household.
The IRS finally caught up with Louie.
I hadn't paid my taxes in 8 years. I owe the IRS a lot of money.
Louie was in deep trouble.
We're going to take your house, put a lien on your bank account, garnish your pay. They don't care. They're going to take your paycheck.
Louie found out about Optima Tax Relief, the leading tax resolution firm. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, they've resolved over $1 billion for their clients.
Optima Tax, they help me. They calm me down. They make me feel comfortable, and I trust them.
Louie has a lot to be thankful for.
I don't owe the IRS anymore, and I'm able to live a comfortable life, a lot better life. It was because of Optima Tax.
For tax help you can trust, call Optima now for a free consultation. Take it from Louie.
If you owe the IRS, don't go it alone. Give Optima Tax a call. They can help you.
Call 800-972-0588. 800-972-0588. 800-972-0588.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Bathfitter just hit a big milestone, 42,000 installations in Western Washington. Celebrate with payments as low as $125 a month. A beautiful bath installed in one day, no mess, and a lifetime warranty. Call Bathfitter or visit bathfitternw.com today.
KIRO FM.